Chapter 1445. Lin Yuan did not show any mercy to the Miao family's Emperor-class experts. The Miao family's Emperor-class Fei had evolved into a creation breed and obtained a creation earth vein. He had used Morbius' exclusive skill, Pure Land of Bliss, to absorb them all. The princess had long coveted Lin Yuan's earth vein golden bead, but Lin Yuan had not decided which law world he wanted to enhance. That was why the princess had never eaten it. When the princess saw Lin Yuan taking out the earth vein golden bead, she stretched out her finger. He gently touched the earth vein gold beads on his palm. She was like a little girl who had seen a delicious candy and was begging her father to let her have one. Upon sensing the princess' desire, Lin Yuan said to her, "Don't worry. Princess, take these earth vein golden beads and digest them. Do your best to improve the simulation world." The princess's eyes sparkled when she heard that. "Master, when I absorbed the law origin crystal previously, I stored all the source-type energy because you didn't ask me to strengthen the laws. Every world creation golden bead will form the embryonic form of a world creation geographical vein when it is integrated into the world of laws. After that, I only need to use the source energy to refine the embryonic form of the world creation earth vein, and the embryonic form of the world creation earth vein will slowly grow into a complete world creation earth vein. Of course, you can also save the source energy and absorb more earth vein golden beads. That way, you can also form a complete earth vein of creation." Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan chose the former without hesitation. Compared to the earth vein golden bead, it was undoubtedly much easier for him to obtain the law origin crystals. Of course, it was not difficult for him to obtain the earth vein golden bead. He gave a law crystal to those Feis that had been stuck at the peak of Suzerain X/Myth 3 for several years and had been unable to advance. Those Feis that had been stuck at the pinnacle of Suzerain/Myth 3 for several years had a high chance of breaking through and ushering in the creation tribulation. Among the Radiance Federation's major factions, there were many Pinnacle Emperor-class experts with Pinnacle Myth 3 Feis. Therefore, he could harvest other factions and earth vein golden beads like he had harvested the Miao family's leeks. This method of obtaining the earth vein golden bead would not incur the hatred of the earth vein Fei that had absorbed the creation Fei. Instead, they would be grateful for obtaining these Feis. This was definitely a win-win choice for Lin Yuan. Princess had already chosen 7 earth vein golden beads and fused them into Princess Luo Chang's simulated world. The moment the 7 earth vein gold beads were absorbed by the princess, Lin Yuan suddenly realized something. The silver turtle emblem on the princess's lapel originally only had an obvious golden thread on its back. And now, on both sides of this obvious golden thread, 3 silhouettes of golden threads appeared on the side. 4 silhouettes of golden threads appeared on the side. This meant that in Princess Luo Kun's simulated world, there was a complete Genesis earth vein. Another 7 embryonic earth veins of Genesis appeared. After absorbing the earth vein gold bead, the princess opened her eyes and said to Lin Yuan, "All right, let's go. Master wants to use source energy to condense the embryonic form of the Genesis Terra Meridians, but it's much slower than raising the nomological power. I don't know exactly how much source-type power is needed to condense a Genesis earth vein before I can do it." When Lin Yuan heard this, he shook his head at the princess, indicating that he was in no hurry. This kind of thing couldn't be rushed even if he wanted to. Since the princess had absorbed the 7 earth vein golden beads, she was currently focusing on strengthening the simulation rules. Lin Yuan didn't let the princess absorb the earth vein golden beads and strengthen the other nomological worlds at the same time. If the other nomological worlds didn't improve, the power of the corresponding sword techniques wouldn't be enhanced. However, to condense the Genesis earth vein, a large amount of source energy was needed, and source energy was limited. Strengthening 2 nomological worlds at the same time was equivalent to splitting the original efficiency in half. Doing so would not improve the Silver Turtle Mirror Strike's stored sword technique. However, it would allow Lin Yuan to absorb the enemy's attacks to the greatest extent. After Lin Yuan was done with the princess, he wasn't in a hurry to strengthen those newly obtained walnut trees. He had obtained a total of more than 600 walnut trees from Li Wan. He couldn't finish strengthening them in a short time. Therefore, Lin Yuan summoned the flower branch rat that he had captured when he had met Su Yiren. Lin Yuan was going to strengthen this flower branch rat. He was going to let this flower branch rat, which couldn't even be considered a fey, evolve into a longevity rat. However, as Lin Yuan injected spirit qi into this flower branch rat, the more he looked at it, the more he felt that there was something wrong with it. This was because the previous flower branch rat had been evolving into a longevity rat as its fur kept shedding and growing. The color of the flower branch rat's fur had been changing from brownish gray to bright orange red. Now, the color of this flower branch rat's fur was changing to brownish black. Lin Yuan suppressed his doubts and continued to strengthen it. In just half a minute, that flower branch rat, which was originally the size of half a palm, had become a huge purplish-black rat that was 40 centimeters long in Lin Yuan's hand. 2 abnormally sharp front teeth could be seen protruding from its mouth. Its hairless tail grew long fur, and its shape became flat. It looked a little like a mink fey. It could be said that this purplish-black rat in Lin Yuan's hand was almost comparable to the fattest fat orange in the 100 Questions Beast Legion. Lin Yuan immediately used true data to check this purplish-black rat. With one look, Lin Yuan realized that this purplish-black rat was called a flower branch rat. It wasn't the longevity rat that he had enhanced previously. Lin Yuan immediately reacted. He must have enhanced the flower branch rat twice. Among the 2 flower branch rats, one had mutated. As for whether the flower branch rat's evolution into a flower branch rat was a normal evolution or the flower branch rat's evolution into a longevity rat was a normal evolution, spread the word. I've been using it recently. Lin Yuan didn't need to think to know that the flower branch rat's normal evolution direction should be a flower branch rat. The longevity rat was a mutation that he had coincidentally encountered by chance. However, any mutation, even if it happened by chance, could be traced. The flower branch rat could mutate into a longevity rat previously, which meant that its body had the mutated longevity rat's gene. However, the amount of this gene was very small, and it was recessive and very difficult to activate. Therefore, as long as Lin Yuan continued to enhance the flower branch rat, it wasn't impossible to coincidentally enhance another longevity rat. Thinking of this, Lin Yuan was prepared to give an order to Su Yiren before returning to the Radiance Federation. He asked her to arrange for the Flourishing Chamber of Commerce to search for a large number of flower branch rats for him. The longevity rat that the flower branch rat mutated into did not have the ability to attack. However, the flower branch rat that evolved into a flower branch rat was a powerful combat class fey. It had black and shiny fur and was not small in size, be it in terms of fur or contract. It was a good choice for the Divine Wood Federation's Spirit Chi professionals. 166 Reading Network. Chapter 1446. The Flourishing Prosperity Chamber of Commerce could sell all the useless flower martins that Lin Yuan had enhanced. The Divine Wood Federation's Spirit Chi professionals would probably welcome the appearance of the martin. He stored the newly enhanced flower sculpture mouse into the diamond fey storage box. He came to the Pure Land of Bliss and checked the black spirit peony that had been planted there. When helping the Mother of Bloodbath awaken the celestial jade spider bloodline, Lin Yuan had used up more than half of the 500 spirit-containing peony buds. Now the flower buds that had been used up had all grown back. After absorbing spiritual energy for more than a week, these newly grown flower buds of the nightmare spirit peony were all in a half-open state. In another 5 to 6 days, the newly grown flower bud would completely close. At that time, Lin Yuan would be able to pluck the flower buds and store them. At that time, he would hand it over to his master, the Moon Empress. The black spirit peony flowers that had not been used when helping the Mother of Bloodbath awaken the Sky Corona Jade Spider bloodline. Now they were all closed, forming a fist-sized flower bud. Lin Yuan had come to the Pure Land of Bliss to pluck these completely closed flower buds. After the flower of the spirit-containing peony was full of spiritual chi, if it was not taken down by someone, the black spirit peony could no longer produce new flowers. This was equivalent to a waste of resources in the spirit lock spatial zone. It took Lin Yuan almost an hour to pick the flower buds of over 200 spirit-containing peonies. Looking at the time, Lu Jie should have already prepared dinner. Lin Fan left the spirit lock spatial zone and returned to his room. After changing into a set of clean clothes, he opened the door and walked out of the room. Coincidentally, he met Su Iren, who had just come out of her room. As he looked at Su Iren, who was wearing a thin, light purple dress, he felt that she looked more charming in her casual clothes than in her luxurious ones. Su Iren's features were handsome, and her temperament was like that of a seductive poppy. If she were to wear fancy clothes, the accessories on the clothes would subtly diminish Su Iren's alluring aura. Su Iren saw Lin Yuan and hurriedly took 2 steps forward to his side. She said softly to Lin Yuan, "Lin Yuan, thank you." Upon hearing Su Iren thank him, Lin Yuan raised his brows in surprise. "Thank me for what?" Su Iren's face fell when she heard that. He looked at Lin Yuan with some surprise, thinking that Lin Yuan was joking with him. "What else can I thank you for? Thank you for saving me when I was in danger. Thank you for giving me hope to survive. Thank you for giving me a purpose and motivation to live on. Thank you for giving me that bag of law crystals. It allowed me to see the possibility of revenge." Su Iren could thank him in person, but she was too embarrassed to say why she wanted to thank him. No matter what, Zo Iren was a girl. It was too embarrassing to ask Su Iren to personally explain why she was thanking him. Upon seeing his inquisitive expression, Su Iren immediately knew. Lin Yuan, a prodigy from the Radiance, was essentially a stinking straight man. Su Iren hurriedly averted her gaze and pondered for a moment before speaking. "Thank you for the bag of law crystals." Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan revealed a look of understanding. So Su Iren was thanking him for that bag of law origin crystals. Speaking of the bag of law crystals, Lin Yuan happened to have something to tell Su Iren. "You're an A-rank spirit chi professional. You haven't reached S-rank yet, but your phase strength has reached suzerain/myth I. This means that you've gone through the role grade. You don't have to use the bag of law origin crystals I gave you sparingly. Spiritual type, soul type, and psychic law crystals are too rare, and such spiritual ingredients are relatively rare. You don't have to wait for the love enchanting poppy to reach myth 2. Let it absorb the law crystals. I have a lot of law crystals here. You can find me again when you're finished. If one day your strength surpasses the 7th page war, you can take back the Dark Continent by yourself. You don't need anyone's help to take back the Dark Continent by yourself." Upon hearing that, Su Iren was shocked and touched. Su Iren was shocked that Lin Yuan said that he had a lot of law crystals. Was that something a human would say? Were the 3 Class 5 creation masters of the Radiance all working for Lin Yuan? If there was only one Class 5 creation master working for Lin Yuan, then Lin Yuan could not have so many law crystals on hand. As for gratitude, it was because Lin Yuan allowed her to use the law crystals at will. Even if the love enchanting poppy was at myth I, it would be a waste to use the law crystals. Even if her grandmother was still alive, this was all she could do for her. She had issued an allegiance oath to Lin Yuan and established a connection with the Celestial Council's Corona Australis. Under such dual control, Lin Yuan could completely treat himself as a tool to be used. He could squeeze out all her talent. However, Lin Yuan did not do so. This made Su Iren, who had no relatives and was alone, feel a sense of belonging to Lin Yuan and the underground palace under her feet. At the same time, Su Iren agreed with what Lin Yuan had said. One's own strength was the absolute truth. However, the 7th page war was not a human but a plant fae. The absolute love poppy's charm ability on plant phase was much weaker than that of humans. Moreover, the 7th page war had 2 sacred source life forms. At least one of them was a 10-star sacred source life form that could trigger a celestial phenomenon. Moreover, the 7th page war could kill all of his grandmother's phase within 100 moves. It proved that 7th page war's strength had definitely reached that level. This made Su Iren feel a deep sense of helplessness. At that moment, Su Iren heard Lin Yuan continue speaking. If you comprehend a new willpower rune during the process of raising the sacred source life form star rank, I will provide you with bronze/legend love framing poppy. The gap can be closed with hard work. As a gloom envoy, you should know that no matter what, you should never stop running. Upon hearing that, Su Iren, who had been a little discouraged, clenched her fists tightly. Even if the chances were slim, he still had to try. Otherwise, how could he face his grandmother? How could he be worthy of old he who died to protect him? And the people of the 7 dark states who were currently living in the heat? Su Yiren said softly after a moment of silence. Lin Yuan, I wish to make a trip to Oak City tomorrow. Firstly, I don't have anything to do in this underground palace. After all, this forbidden area hasn't taken shape yet. Secondly, I wish to choose 14 exiled women from the abandoned district of Oak City. Nurture them into 14 millet fruits. In fact, it was very easy for Su Yiren to nurture 14 millet fruits. She could find people anywhere. Su Yiren could even use the relationship between the flourishing Chamber of Commerce and the Ding family to find 14 talented young women. However, Su Yiren did not do so. Chapter 1447. Su Yiren had been redeemed in Oak City's abandoned city district. She had seen light in that abandoned gray world. Therefore, Su Yiren wanted to redeem others in the same place. In addition, the women exiled from the abandoned city district were generally strong-willed. They had tenacity and strength that ordinary women could not compare to. Such women would become the 14 millet fruits and go to the 14 cities to build love houses. On one hand, they would be able to stay true to themselves when facing the temptations of the world. On the other hand, their bitter experiences would let them know that they had to constantly improve their dancing and singing skills. Su Yiren did not care about the appearance of the 14 women that she had chosen in the abandoned city district. The moment the absolute love poppy used its ability to contract them as millet fruits, these women's appearance and aura would change under the absolute love poppy's transformation. They would all become beauties that could charm all living beings. Lin Yuan naturally would not object to Su Yiren's request to search for the 14 millet fruits tomorrow. The distance between the underground palace and Oak City is almost 2,000 li. You don't have a contract with a flying fae, so it's not convenient to go back and forth. I'll prepare a pinnacle diamond snow-necked swan for you tomorrow morning. Although the snow-necked swan doesn't fly as fast as Blackie, it's enough to go back and forth between Oak City and the underground palace. Lin Yuan currently used pure spirit chi to enhance a pinnacle diamond snow-necked swan, and it would take at least half a month. Therefore, Lin Yuan could not personally nurture a pinnacle diamond snow-necked swan. However, Genius and the 100 Questions Beast Legion could. There were many high-quality bronze fays in Lin Yuan's diamond fay storage box. He had caught these fays a few months ago when he went to the Endless Forest for wild harvesting. He had long since enhanced them, but he had not found a suitable home. Among these fays, the most suitable for a flying fay was the snow-necked swan. However, this snow-necked swan was still at bronze/epic. Of course, after handing it over to Genius, this bronze/epic snow-necked swan would become a diamond X/legend existence the next morning. Su Yiren wanted to express her gratitude again, but Lin Yuan stopped her. However, she suddenly remembered that Lin Yuan had asked her why she wanted to thank him. She was afraid that he would ask the same question again after thanking her. As a result, Su Yiren did not even thank him this time. Since he had become Lin Yuan's subordinate, it was better to do things for Lin Yuan than to thank him. As soon as he walked to the entrance of the underground palace, he smelled the alluring barbecue aroma. Upon smelling the aroma of the barbecue, Lin Yuan's stomach instantly growled. Lu Jie roasted a whole platinum blackback mountain boar. It was not easy to nurture a blackback mountain boar to the platinum level. However, the deliciousness of the platinum blackback mountain boar was simply incomparable to the silver and gold blackback mountain boars. The platinum blackback mountain boar that Lu Jie roasted weighed at least 100 kilograms of meat. Lin Yuan and the others simply could not finish it. Lu Jie was currently sprinkling sea salt and black pepper on the golden yellow blackback mountain boar. Xiao Hua and Xiao Chao stood beside Lu Jie and stared at the sizzling blackback mountain boar. Xiao Hua was fine, but he kept swallowing his saliva. Xiao Cao's saliva directly flowed out of the corner of her mouth and dripped from her chin onto the white lapel of her clothes. It formed a fist-sized saliva stain on the white lapel. Huquan held a brush and kept brushing honey juice on the blackback mountain boar's buttocks. Compared to the petrol black pepper flavor, Huquan still preferred the honey flavor. Among the blackback mountain boar's meat, Huquan was most interested in the firm back mound meat. Looking at this huge blackback mountain boar, Lin Yuan said to Huquan, "Uncle Hu, go and call Hu Tian and those spirit craftsmen over. Uncle Hu, go and call Hu Tian and those spirit craftsmen over. I'll leave half of this blackback mountain boar for them. Everyone has worked hard for so long. Come and have a good meal." Upon hearing that, Huquan, who was brushing honey juice on the back mound meat, stood up and said to Lin Yuan with a smile, "Okay, I'll call that group of brats and that Hu Tian, who only knows how to slack off at work, to come over for a meal." Huquan was a boorish person and had never bothered with trifles. Even if he was reading a book, he would never do it behind anyone's back. However, even a boorish person like Huquan understood how big the gap between Lin Yuan and those spirit craftsmen was. At that moment, Lin Yuan could think of those ordinary spirit craftsmen and was willing to call them over for a meal. It was enough to see that Lin Yuan was a person who could empathize with his subordinates' hard work. Lin Yuan's entire body was glowing, making it difficult for Huquan to shift his gaze away. In less than half an hour, this blackback mountain boar, which weighed more than 100 kilograms, was eaten by everyone until only the bones were left. One of the thighs was being held by Hu Tian, who was gnawing on the tendons attached to the bones with a crunching sound. Huquan glared at Hu Tian fiercely. This Hu Tian relied on the fact that he was an emperor-class expert and could circulate spirit qi to speed up the digestion. He ate at least 80 kilograms of meat and went to the toilet 3 times in between. How could someone be so shameless for the sake of eating? Xiao Hua and Xiao Chao had never eaten such a delicacy. Lin Yuan was afraid that Xiao Hua and Xiao Chao would have indigestion, so he specially took out some sweet and sour plums when they were eating the meat. Lin Yuan and the people in the underground palace were happily eating the blackback mountain boar. However, it was currently a cold winter on the Deepwood Federation's side. The Divine Wood Federation's 4 seasons were hot, and the Iron Hammer Federation's further north, the weather got colder. In the central region, the Iron Hammer Federation's weather had already started to snow. However, to the north of the Iron Hammer Federation, the Deepwood Federation was by the sea. It was covered in ice and snow all year round. It was precisely because of this climate that the Deepwood Federation's land was not suitable for growing food. This allowed the people of the Deepwood Federation to embark on the path of establishing merchant associations and caravans. It was also because the Deepwood Federation's spirit qi professionals chose this path that the Deepwood Federation's wealth became the top of the 3 major federations in the Agon continent. Those reclusive noble clans that controlled the Chamber of Commerce were all extremely wealthy. Among them, 4 of the Deepwood Federation's hidden noble families were the most powerful and the most mysterious. Most of the hidden noble families had received funding from these 4 hidden noble families. Of course, the funding from these 4 hidden noble families wasn't free. Most of the Deepwood Federation's hidden noble families had their shares taken by these 4 hidden noble families. These 4 reclusive clans had absolute authority in the Deep Vendor Federation. However, at this moment, the family heads of these 4 hidden noble families were all kneeling in front of a strange bloody ball of flesh. On the throne that was embedded with jewels, the strange ball of flesh that was badly mutilated was trembling slightly. Cold sweat covered the foreheads of the 4 great reclusive clans as they knelt on the ground. Their faces were filled with terror. Chapter 1448. The heads of the 4 reclusive clans didn't even dare to exchange glances with each other. They were afraid that they would incur the displeasure of the strange meatball on the throne. At that moment, a clear and tender voice came from the blood-colored meatball. The clear and tender voice made one feel as if they had heard the truth. The 4 of you have been developing in the Deep Brahmin Federation for so many years, but you have only managed to obtain so few law crystals for me. Moreover, most of the law crystals are just fragments. Tell me, how should I punish you? Upon hearing this, the heads of the 4 great hidden clans kowtowed as if they were pounding garlic with their heads, begging for mercy. Lord Truth, it's not that we didn't work hard. There aren't many myth breed and creation breed phase in the entire Agon continent. Moreover, the experts of the Divine Wood Federation and the Iron Hammer Federation don't like to leave their court. It's not good for us to target experts who build cities outside. Once a large number of experts die in these cities, the Divine Wood Federation and the Iron Hammer Federation will definitely investigate. When that happens, the Divine Wood Federation and the Iron Hammer Federation will find some clues and ban the Deep Brahmin Federation's Chambers of Commerce from opening. We will no longer be able to gather wealth for Lord Truth. Just as the 4 reclusive clan heads were explaining themselves, a crack appeared on the huge meatball on the throne. A fair-skinned, silver-haired boy appeared from the opening. The silver-haired Shota's gaze was naive as he sized up the 4 reclusive family heads. However, it was this naive gaze that landed on the 4 family heads. However, it caused a thick layer of goosebumps to appear on the bodies of the 4 reclusive clan heads. Just as the 4 family heads thought they were about to be punished, a voice that sounded like the truth spoke. My sacred source life form is the hardest to raise among the 8 pages of the Pagoda Canon. My sacred source life form is the hardest to raise among the 8 pages of the Tower Canon. As he spoke, the silver-haired boy touched the back of his neck. There was a palm-sized scar, and a crazed look appeared in his eyes. Once my sacred source life form reaches 10 stars, I will finally settle the score with the Radiant Moon Empress and the Night Empress. When my sacred source life form reaches 10 stars, I will settle the score with the Radiant Moon Empress and the Night Empress. A few days ago, there was a strange phenomenon in the sun. The heavenly spirit of the sun has reappeared. It's time to collect the heavenly blessed crystals that I didn't manage to obtain before, once my sacred source life form reaches 10 stars. It wasn't the first time the 4 hidden noble family heads had heard of the silver-haired Shota in front of them. It was as if he was talking to himself in a dream. But the more they heard, the more afraid the 4 hidden clan heads became. Suddenly, the 4 reclusive clan heads heard the silver-haired boy's tone turn cold. You guys are too slow in collecting law crystals and world crystals for me. Since the experts of the Divine Wood Federation and the Iron Hammer Federation do not like to leave the royal court, then let the Divine Wood Federation and the Iron Hammer Federation have a war that no expert can stay out of. I will give you 4 months. After 4 months, I will wake up again. I want to smell the smoke of war and come to Deep Brahmin. Otherwise, you 4 useless people can be my clothes. As he spoke, the silver-haired boy reached out and patted the meatball behind him. The 4 hidden noble family heads hurriedly responded with trembling voices. Lord Truth, we will definitely complete the task you have entrusted to us. It was only when the 4 secluded family heads retreated from the strange tower that they dared to let out a sigh of relief. The 4 hidden noble family heads looked at each other. They understood that Lord Truth was now beginning to put in place the arrangements he had made in the past. In Lord Truth's eyes, all the experts of the Agon continent were goo worms. It was for the sake of raising Lord Truth's life form to 10 stars. The Agon continent would be in chaos at this moment. After eating the barbecued meat, Su Iran came to Lin Yuan's room and specially invited him to chat for a long time. As Su Iran was helping Lin Yuan with the matters of the Divine Wood Federation. Therefore, in order to complete the task beautifully, Su Iran had to fully understand Lin Yuan's goals and plans. Through the conversation that night, Su Iran's view of Lin Yuan kept changing. Looking at Lin Yuan seriously talking about his ideas and goals, Su Iran had a feeling that a gentleman's words could cover thousands of miles of clouds. From Lin Yuan's words, Su Iran knew that Lin Yuan had an organization called Sky City in his hands. Sky City was using the sacred source life form called the Celestial Body Council to plot against the entire origin world. Su Iran could not help but have a question in her mind. Was this the bearing of a prodigy from one of the 3 major states? Su Iran had never been to the Radiance Federation before, but the former Dark Envoys of the Dark 7 states had visited the Radiance Federation. After the former Dark Envoys returned, they had told Su Iran about the Radiance Federation. Just the existence of the 3 Class 5 Creation Masters had made Su Iran understand. As one of the 3 major federations, how prosperous was the Radiance Federation? But even if it was prosperous, it was impossible for everyone to have the vision and goal to plot against the entire origin world. One must know that for many geniuses of small federations, it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens to walk out of their own federation when they were surrounded by the sea. During their conversation, Su Iran had mentioned the Radiance Envoy and the Myriad Nations Conference twice. Although Lin Yuan did not give her a definite answer, he did not deny it either time. Su Iran was certain that Lin Yuan was the current Radiance Envoy. Otherwise, he would compete for the position of the next Radiance Envoy. After analyzing Lin Yuan's situation, Su Iran felt that the latter was more likely. After all, Lin Yuan was too young at 17 or 18 years old. On the way back, everyone rode on Lin Yuan's phase. Su Iran was a Class 3 creation master and could easily sense that the Black Flood Dragon was a diamond/fantasy breed fae. He already had such strength at the age of 17 or 18. It would not be a problem for him to compete for the Radiance Envoy position in 2 years. When Su Iran had reached his current strength, she had already been 23 years old. Su Iran, who understood Lin Yuan's goal, left his room. Lin Yuan had previously consumed the geocentric jade milk and cleansed his body. After cleansing his body, Lin Yuan no longer needed to sleep for 7 or 8 hours every day. He only needed 2 or 3 hours of sleep to maintain his best mental state. Lin Yuan, who was not in a hurry to sleep, went to the Spirit Lock spatial zone and enhanced the walnut trees. That night, he upgraded all 5,500-year-old object storage walnut trees to bronze/legend. In the end, he harvested 1,287 pairs of bronze/epic walnuts. Chapter 1449. After putting the matching walnuts in a brocade box, Lin Fan put the walnuts into it. He arrived at the swamp world through Klein Hub. Lin Yuan, who had just arrived in the swamp world, saw Genius commanding 5 spirit craftsmen to help plant walnut trees. A tall, 3-meter-tall humanoid crocodile wearing crocodile armor was digging a hole in the ground with both hands. The 2 Medusa demons watched as the spirit craftsman buried the walnut tree into the pit and filled it with soil. The snake's tail wrapped around the walnut tree from both sides, and it used its strength to break the tree trunk. In an instant, the tree trunk of the grotesque walnut tree was perpendicular to the ground. When Genius sensed Lin Yuan's arrival, it quickly ran over. It gently scuttled along Lin Yuan's leg to his shoulder. Genius, who was on Lin Yuan's shoulder, habitually rubbed its head against Lin Yuan's cheek. Genius spoke to Lin Yuan in a childish voice. Lin Yuan, ever since you had the intention to nurture a walnut tree that could accommodate things, smart, let Fatty Orange and the others start stockpiling solutions that can help increase the quality and grade of the object storing walnuts, as well as spirit fluids that can help plant phase-bear fruits and accelerate fruit ripening. The spiritual liquid we have now should be enough for more than 200 walnut trees. Lin Yuan stretched out his hand and gently rubbed Genius' little head before replying, "Don't worry. Smart, I have 50 walnut trees that are more than 500 years old. Cultivate the walnut trees that are more than 500 years old. Cultivate them to diamond level as soon as possible and let them bear walnuts. I still have more than 600 300-year-old walnut trees left. I'll let you plant them after I upgrade them to bronze/epic. This way, we can maximize the quality of the walnuts they produce after they advance to the diamond rank." Genius nodded. Lin Yuan, Genius feels that we don't have enough manpower to develop the swamp world. We need some people who can do manual labor in the swamp world. Lin Yuan scratched Genius' nose and said, "That's right. Smart. When I return to the Radiance Federation, I'll be able to resolve this matter soon." Soon, the number of people in the swamp world will increase. He had previously discussed with Sun Ningxiang about dividing a large piece of land in the swamp world to cultivate all kinds of production-type spirit plants. During this period of time, Sun Ningxiang had been recruiting workers in the Radiance Federation who could live in seclusion. At that time, Lin Yuan could select a portion of these workers to help Genius. In addition, when Class 3 spirit craftsmen built houses, many of the jobs could be done by non-spirit craftsmen. If someone could help these Class 3 spirit craftsmen, their work efficiency would increase. Otherwise, if Genius wanted to plant a walnut tree, he would have to seek help from the Medusa demon and the Class 3 spirit craftsman. It was such a waste of talent. As for that half-man, half-crocodile creature, it was probably by Xian, the sinful crocodile, an apostle who had used his innate talent to transform into an apostle. These swamp crocodiles that had transformed into humanoid forms had strong bodies and great strength. It was most suitable for him to stay in the territory and do some hard work. Genius took the diamond fey storage box that contained the walnut tree from Lin Yuan and prepared to continue planting the walnut tree. Just as Genius was about to jump off Lin Yuan's shoulder, Lin Yuan suddenly hugged Genius. Lin Yuan took the snow-necked swan out of the fey storage box and said to Genius, "Genius, raise this snow-necked swan's grade to diamond tonight." Lin Yuan took the snow-necked swan out of the fey storage box and said to Genius, "Genius, raise this snow-necked swan's grade to diamond tonight." Zhou Iran needs a flying fey as a means of transportation, and this snow-necked swan is just right. Upon hearing Lin Yuan's words, Genius immediately agreed. "Lin Yuan, don't worry. Genius has stored plenty of spirit liquids. Genius will raise this snow-necked swan's grade before daybreak." After Genius went to the breeding room to work, Lin Yuan searched around but did not find the slaughter sky butterfly in the territory. Lin Yuan used his spiritual energy to contact the purple firmament and found out that the slaughter sky butterfly and the purple firmament had been searching for swamp soil around the territory. The slaughter sky butterfly found out from the purple firmament that Lin Yuan was looking for it. The slaughter sky butterfly quickly brought the purple firmament back to the territory at full speed. In less than 40 minutes, the slaughter sky butterfly appeared in front of Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan asked the slaughter sky butterfly, which was in front of him, "Slaughter sky butterfly, have you formed a contract with your sacred source life form?" The predator sky butterfly replied, "Lin Yuan, I want to form a contract with the sacred source life form at a later time. The territory is currently lacking swamp soil. A few days ago, the Medusa demons went out to collect swamp soil and encountered danger. One of the Class 7 Medusa demons that went out to look for swamp soil encountered a Class 7 swamp ripple water serpent. The Medusa demons were ambushed by the Class 7 swamp ripple water serpent and eventually perished together with it. Therefore, I asked the Medusa demons not to go out to collect swamp soil for now. I informed Bai Yen to build a line of defense in the territory's periphery. This line of defense only allows swamp crocodiles, Medusa demons, and Medusa monitor lizards to pass through. I asked Bai Yen to send out subordinates to eliminate dimensional life forms that are Class 7 and above from the outside. Purple Firmament and I will collect swamp soil according to the distribution of the swamp crocodiles while clearing dimensional life forms that are Class 7 and above from the inside. I want to deal with these matters first before forming a contract with the sacred source life form. Otherwise, if I form a contract with the sacred source life form now, it will definitely affect the swamp world's development. According to the Slaughter Sky Butterfly's words, Lin Yuan understood that the Slaughter Sky Butterfly did not absorb the sacred source life form for the sake of the swamp world's development. This was the Slaughter Sky Butterfly's kind intentions. Lin Yuan did not ask the Slaughter Sky Butterfly to form a contract with the sacred source life form's marrow as soon as possible. Lin Yuan had to return to the Divine Wood Federation the next morning. Right now, Lin Yuan was very curious about the sacred source life form that would form a contract with the Mother of Bloodbath's marrow. After returning, Lin Yuan had to help Ji Feng form a contract with the sacred source life form. After communicating with the Slaughter Sky Butterfly for a while, Lin Yuan called for Shi Teng, Wendy, and Bai Xian. Lin Yuan realized that Shi Teng's growth rate was the fastest. Now, Shi Teng had 4 believers and 3 blessings. His cultivation had risen to the Type 8 realm. It would not be long before he could advance to Class 9. Shi Teng's strength had risen so quickly because all the Medusa demons had done their best to help Shi Teng lure the Medusa monitor lizards. The Medusa monitor lizards that had been lured over had ultimately become nutrients for Shi Teng to increase his strength. As Wendy had ready-made snake species phase, she relied on the snake phase venom. Wendy's strength had risen to Class 4. At the same time, she had taken in 1 favored believer and 2 believers. Chapter 1450. It hadn't been long since Bai Yen became an apostle, so his cultivation level had only risen by 1 level. Currently, Bai Yen, who was at level 3, had a believer and a favored believer. Lin Yuan knew that the 3 little fellows in front of him had never stopped moving forward. After spending some time with Shi Teng, Wendy, and Bai Xian, Lin Yuan left the swamp world. On the eve of the Radiance 100 sequence, Lin Yuan did not intend to invest any more energy in the swamp world. After the Radiance 100 sequence selection ended, Lin Yuan planned to take Bai Yen to the Myriad Palace in the Marsh East Circle to take a look. He wanted to see if he could exchange for some high-quality source-type items or even sacred source lifeforms. After leaving the swamp world, he lay on the bed and fell asleep. The next morning, Lin Yuan handed the snow-necked swan, which Genius had upgraded to Diamond X/Legend, to Su Yiren. Then Ji Feng, Xiao Hua, Xiao Chao, and Lu Jie entered the treasure made from the skin and stomach of the treasure cave Golden Cicada. He then stepped into the spatial tunnel and appeared in the Return from Faraway Mansion's underground space. Lin Yuan, who had fallen on his butt, rubbed his messy head. The discomfort of long-distance teleportation was even more painful than when he had drunk the silver stamen gold luster cassia nectar to wash away the impurities in his body. After recovering from his discomfort, he immediately released Lu Jie, Ji Feng, Xiao Hua, and Xiao Chao. As for the dragon-horned black tortoise that had been staying in the treasure cave Golden Toad, Lin Yuan let it continue to stay there. He did not mind exposing the law crystals that contained pure power of law to the dragon-horned black tortoise. However, he did not want the dragon-horned black tortoise to know that he was not from the Deep Lush Federation but the Radiance Federation. Upon seeing Xiao Hua and Xiao Chao looking around curiously, Lin Yuan said to them, "Let's go. Xiao Hua, Xiao Chao will be at your new home soon. From now on, your big brother Lu Jie will always cook for you. Your big sister Wen Yu will always make new clothes for you. I'll ask big sister Wen Yu to arrange 2 rooms for you. You can tell big sister Wen Yu how you want to decorate the rooms." When Xiao Hua and Xiao Chao heard that, their eyes revealed childish admiration. Xiao Hua and Xiao Chao were born with difficulties. They were the 2 most tragic lives in the Divine Wood Federation. They could only rely on each other and had long since regarded each other as the most important people in their lives. The yin-yang chaotic butterfly allowed little flower and little grass to experience what it meant to be parted forever. In such a situation, Lin Yuan had not only saved the flowers and grass, but he had also saved their lives. It was equivalent to saving the souls and emotions of Xiao Hua and Xiao Chao. From Lin Yuan and Lu Jie, Xiao Hua and Xiao Chao felt warmth and the feeling of being taken care of. When Lin Yuan said the word family, Xiao Hua and Xiao Chao were sure that this big brother who had saved them treated them as family. Flowery held Xiao Cao's hand tightly, and Xiao Chao clenched her fists tightly. These 2 children from the Divine Wood knew that they finally had a home. After leaving the underground space and returning to the main residence, he saw a huge book flipping rapidly in the room. Faint golden paper flew all over the room. When the golden pieces of paper fluttered in the air, there was still nothing. But by the time it landed, the paper was already filled with neatly written words. Lin Yuan knew that Wen Yu was using the source paper's exclusive skill, the Heaven Listening Mystic Manual. However, Wen Yu's current appearance of the Heaven Listening Mystic Canon was very different from the appearance of the Heaven Listening Mystic Canon in his memory. It seemed that Wen Yu had gone to the Radiant Moon Palace with Mystic Moon's help, and the source paper had undergone a tremendous change. Lin Yuan immediately used Morbius True Data to check the flying source paper. Fey name, source paper, paper flower, Fey species, elemental/paper, Fey grade, diamond, 10. Fey type, wood, Fey quality, fantasy v abilities frowny face paper dance. Turn the body into flying paper pieces. The paper pieces are immune to physical damage, but the effect is doubled when facing elemental damage. The transformed paper pieces have a flashing effect that is triggered once every 3 seconds and can flash 20 kilometers in a general direction. Paper crane packed. Condense paper into a paper crane. The paper crane can deliver specific messages. The paper crane records the aura of the recipient. If the person without the aura of the paper crane receives the paper crane, the paper crane will automatically burn. The paper crane has a flashing effect that is 30 times that of the paper dance. Mental thought letter. The paper piece absorbs the target's blood and forms a temporary contract with the target. The person holding the mental thought letter can communicate with the paper through telepathy. The words in the heart will automatically appear on the paper, and the person holding the mental thought letter can check the words that appear on the paper together. Faceless paper. The paper is attached to the target's face and can change the target's face at will. If the source paper is not destroyed, even if the target is killed, the illusion paper attached to the target's face cannot be destroyed. Paper flower funeral. The paper is folded into a flower. When the flower falls on the target, it will form a mark on the target's body. Even if the target is invisible in a clone or in elemental form, it will be able to sense the target through the paper flower mark. Myriad paper bearer. The paper can be disguised as a human, fae, mountain, city, sea, or even the sky. Under the disguise, the object hidden behind the paper bearer will be in an absolute defense state. Exclusive skill frowny face heaven listening secret manual. The contractor's body will turn into a secret manual. The secret manual will raise the flying paper, and when the secret manual is flipped, any subtle sensations can be recorded on the flying paper. Reality paper. Under the flying paper dance, use soul power to condense a piece of paper that can detect the truth. When asking the target a question, if the target's words are true, the paper will be folded into a paper flower. If the detection is false, the paper will shatter. After checking, Lin Yuan found that the source paper's strength had been raised to Diamond X/Fantasy V, when you was not a spirit chi professional who was good at combat. However, when Yu's current comprehension and equipment had reached the pinnacle of the younger generation. However, compared to the change in the source paper's grade, what really surprised Lin Yuan was the change in the source paper's ability. In Lin Yuan's opinion, the source type item, the source paper, was even comparable to most sacred source life forms in terms of function. Lin Yuan had to admire Wen Yu's source paper. It was simply too powerful. Previously, the source paper's strength was reflected in the collection of information and the confidentiality of information exchanges. Now that the source paper had been promoted to Diamond X/Fantasy V, its ability had been strengthened on the original basis. The newly obtained ability also enriched the source paper's functions. Chapter 1451. The source paper had been promoted from bronze to diamond. The abilities of the normal paper dance and the elite paper crane pact did not seem to have changed much. However, the functions were not the same as before. The effect of the source paper skill, paper dance, was to trigger a flash every 5 seconds. Each time it was triggered, it could flash 3 kilometers away depending on the direction. Now, the flash effect would be triggered once every 3 seconds, and it would flash 20 kilometers in a fixed direction. The paper dance was originally Wen Yu's escape and displacement ability. Now, the speed of the paper dance had increased from 36 kilometers per minute to 600 kilometers per minute. This speed was almost 20 times faster than before. This speed could make it easier for Wen Yu to escape when facing danger. When facing some powerful enemies that used elemental attacks, it was often difficult to escape from the elemental attack's range within 3 kilometers. However, 20 kilometers was already a large extent for one to escape from the attack's range. Apart from the escape effect, just in terms of traveling speed. At a speed of 14,400 kilometers per hour, it could almost catch up with some myth-breed flying type phase. It was said that quantitative change produced qualitative change. Source paper's normal skill, paper dance, was a perfect example of this. As for the elite paper crane pact, it completely relied on the normal paper dance's ability. In his opinion, the paper crane pact had similar functions to the messenger pigeon. However, it had more confidentiality effects than the messenger pigeon. The only drawback was that the paper crane's flying speed was too slow. The original paper crane pact's speed was 10 times that of Wen Yu's paper dance. When it was at bronze, Wen Yu's paper dance's speed was 864 kilometers per hour. The paper crane pact's speed was 8,640 kilometers per hour. This speed was already very fast for traveling. However, It was difficult to ensure the timeliness of the message. It was far more convenient to make a phone call. However, when you used the paper crane pact, the speed of the paper crane reached nearly 450,000 kilometers per hour. At this speed, when you wanted to send a message to the Radiance Empire's major cities, even Cloud Pool City, which was the furthest from the royal capital, could be guaranteed to reach within 3 hours. It could be said that with just the paper crane pact, Wen Yu's message delivery speed was already comparable to a top faction like Ostrich Logistics. The effect of the pact of the paper crane skill ensured that any message sent from within the Sky Castle would be absolutely confidential. Through the paper crane pact, Wen Yu could give orders to the white-clothed servants everywhere in the Radiance sect at any time. As for the source paper's silver ability, mental message letter, it was a divine ability with extraordinary strategic significance in Lin Yuan's opinion. After he went to the Divine Wood Federation, he could not contact the Radiance Federation. This was because a technological product like a mobile phone before the spirit energy revival could not cross the vast ocean. However, with the mental thought letter, he could contact Hui Yao through it. He planned to ask Wen Yu if it was difficult to create a mental letter. If it was easy, Wen Yu could create more telepathic letters. Then, he gave one to every core member of Sky City. After that, everyone would be able to communicate through telepathic letters. Excluding the effect of the telepathic letter on a force, under some special circumstances. Telepathic letters were also extremely useful. Lin Yuan had heard from his master, the Moon Empress, that the various Federation envoys would compete on the same stage during the Myriad States Conference. During the competition, many aspects of a Federation envoy's team would be comprehensively considered, not just their combat ability. Among them, there was a team survival in the wild. At that time, each Federation's envoy could bring 2 members of the Federation Knight Order. Each Federation's 5 envoys would act separately and be teleported to a random location in the wild. At that time, there would be a big chaotic battle involving 1,000 geniuses. To ensure that they would not be besieged and eliminated, the best way was to meet up with their teammates as soon as possible. Wen Yu's telepathic letters could perfectly become a bridge for everyone to communicate. It could be said that with this telepathic letters ability alone, Wen Yu was destined to have a place in the Radiance Light Knights. The source paper's platinum ability, Faceless Paper, was a disguise ability. Those who were covered by the faceless paper would not be dispelled even if they were killed. As long as the source paper was not affected, the faceless paper would not be removed. This ability could make everyone become one person, and it could also make one person become everyone. If the faceless paper was attached to the face of every white-clothed follower. At that time, the Sky City's white-clothed followers would be the same. The white-clothed followers would not know who each other was. Many of the followers who joined the Sky City had families behind them. When the white-clothed followers went out on missions, it was very likely that the enemies of the Sky City would remember their appearance and take revenge afterward. With the faceless paper ability, the white-clothed followers did not need to worry about their families behind them when they went out on missions. At the same time, the faceless paper could also play a key role when protecting important people in desperate situations. Ordinary disguise phase, such as the illusory face worm, would be hit hard in the face by someone. The injured illusory face worm would automatically remove its disguise state. The source paper's gold ability, Faceless Paper, did not need to worry about this at all. The source paper's platinum ability, Paper Flower Funeral, was a reconnaissance ability. When the target was invisible, cloned, or elemental, when you could sense the target through the paper flower imprint. When you only needed to spread the paper flower funeral in a large area to find the enemy hidden in the dark. This allowed Wen Yu to change from an internal affairs spirit chi professional to a spirit chi professional with both internal affairs and reconnaissance. Many reconnaissance phase could not find targets that were invisible, cloned, or elemental. The source paper's diamond ability, Myriad Paper, made Lin Yuan slap the table and praise it. The Myriad Paper gave the source paper the ability to disguise and protect. The floating island whale soared in the sky, and Wen Yu used the Myriad Paper to change the paper into the sky. It could completely isolate the floating island whale and protect it at the same time. However, the source paper's defense was far inferior to the floating island whale's own defense. However, when you could use the myriad paper on the paper crane pact. On the one hand, it could make the paper crane pact harder to discover, and on the other hand, it could be protected. It could avoid being intercepted on the way, causing the paper cranes to spontaneously combust, and the message could not be sent out. Of course, the myriad paper's defensive ability was not strong. A large part of it was because the source paper's grade was not high enough. If when Yu's source paper reached Immortal, she could let it use the myriad paper to protect a large city in the Radiance Federation. If when Yu's source paper was lucky enough to reach Immortal, she could use the myriad paper. It might be able to cover the entire Radiance Federation and protect all its land. Chapter 1452. As for the exclusive skill true paper that the source paper had obtained after advancing to a fantasy breed, it was a fantasy breed. It allowed Wen Yu to use the paper condensed from her soul power to determine whether the target was telling the truth. The human heart was the most complicated. The second characteristic of the origin paper was the reality paper. Although it couldn't see through people's minds, it could distinguish between truth and falsehood. The source paper could be said to have the most powerful function among all the source-type items he had seen so far. After seeing Lin Yuan, the grimoire, which was filled with countless pieces of paper, suddenly closed. Amidst the rain of paper, the huge grimoire turned into a young girl wearing a light yellow dress. Upon seeing him return from the Divine Wood Federation, Wen Yu's face revealed a pleasantly surprised expression. The woman in the light yellow dress smiled like a flower in the rain of paper. Wen Yu quickly walked forward and smiled at Lin Yuan. "Young master, you're back." In the past, when Lin Yuan went to the Divine Wood Federation, she had never missed him so much. After all, when he went to the Divine Wood Federation in the past, Wen Yu would only be separated from him for 4 to 5 days at most. Even though he had gone to the Divine Wood Federation this time, he still returned in 4 or 5 days. However, Wen Yu had gone to the Leaning Moon Mountain and the Radiant Moon Palace. Under the guidance of his master, Xianxia, he went into seclusion. Wen Yu and Lin Yuan had not seen each other for almost half a month. Wen Yu had been by Lin Yuan's side and had become his assistant. Wen Yu had never been separated from him for more than half a month. No one was clearer than Wen Yu about the results of her seclusion this time. Wen Yu still remembered the excited expression on Master Xianyu's face when her source paper had advanced to the silver grade and obtained the telepathic writing paper. From Xianyu's words, Wen Yu knew that it was very likely that she had taken a shortcut by relying on the source paper's silver-level telepathic writing paper. He skipped the competition and was directly selected as a member of the Radiant Light Knights. The Radiance Federation only had 5 Radiance envoys per term. The 10,000 Nations Assembly was held once every 10 years, and the Radiance Envoy was selected once every 10 years. To put it bluntly, the Radiant Light Knights were the assistants of the Radiance Envoys. Every Radiance Envoy had 2 members of the Radiance Knights who were directly affiliated with them. It could be said that apart from the Radiance Envoys, the members of the Radiance Knights were the 10 most prominent geniuses among the younger generation of the Radiance sect. Every member of the Radiant Light Knight squad had the talent to compete for the Radiance Envoy position. His status was far above the Radiance 100 sequence members. After knowing that she might be chosen to join the Radiant Light Knights, Wen Yu was not happy about her bright future. What really made her happy was that she could stand by Lin Yuan's side in another way. Even in a meeting like the Assembly of 10,000 States, where all the federations of the origin world would participate, the Assembly of 10,000 States would be held. He could fight alongside Lin Yuan and advance and retreat together, instead of guarding the rear and being a steward of internal affairs. Wen Yu was originally a spirit attendant of the Radiant Moon Palace, but she was almost removed from the list of spirit attendants because she was kind enough to save people. Wen Yu had reflected countless times on whether it was right or wrong to save her friend. Wen Yu had denied her own kindness countless times, and her mentality had changed. In the end, Lin Yuan gave himself an answer. Although she did not show it when she first followed Lin Yuan, she had always felt very inferior in her heart. The reason he had been chosen by Lin Yuan's side was to be a creation master's assistant. However, Wen Yu's creation master strength was still at the pinnacle of 2-star. Wen Yu's source-type life form, Earth Rush Golden Lotus, was raised to Diamond X/Legend by Xianyu. With the Earth Surge Golden Lotus, Wen Yu was currently able to concoct Class 3 spirit liquids with her pinnacle Class 2 creation master abilities. Wen Yu, who was in her early 20s, could only be considered a genius with such a creation master. In a place like the Divine Wood Federation, they could even build their own small city. However, such an ability was obviously not enough to stay by Lin Yuan's side. However, Wen Yu, whose strength had transformed, could finally sweep away her previous inferiority complex in front of Lin Yuan. Instead, he used a confident expression to properly assist Lin Yuan. Upon seeing her smile, Lin Yuan and Lu Jie, who were familiar with her, found that her smile was a little different from before. In the past, Wen Yu's smile was very reserved. It was rare for her to be in such high spirits. However, it was undeniable that Wen Yu, who was beaming with joy, did not lose out to Su Yiren at all. Wen Yu, how is everything in the manor recently? Upon hearing that, Wen Yu replied softly to Lin Yuan. Young master, everything is normal here in the manor. Nothing special has happened. It's just that over the past few days, the public opinion on Starweb has been getting more and more ferocious. Most of them are discussing young master's 2 identities. Tian Ningning keeps asking me if I want to control the public opinion. In addition, I've seen Tian Ningning's assistant, Zhou Man. She is very capable. If I have to say a flaw, it's that she is more stubborn and not tactful enough. However, I think young master should appreciate such a stubborn and pragmatic character. Upon hearing Wen Yu's words, Lin Yuan nodded. Lin Yuan was very clear about how turbulent the public opinion on Starweb was. This was because the power of faith in Lin Yuan's soul shrine had been rising rapidly. The one that benefited the most from this was the source water, Blue. Lin Yuan had originally thought that Blue was the Fae that he had cheated the most. If Blue wanted to become a fantasy breed, it needed to comprehend a willpower rune in each of the 12 water clusters. The way the water clusters comprehended the willpower rune did not need Lin Yuan to provide it. Instead, they absorbed the characteristics of the strange water. As for the standard for whether the water clusters could absorb the strange water, it depended on the intensity of the power of faith in Blue's body. Now, Lin Yuan injected the power of faith in the soul shrine into Blue's body. Among Blue's 12 water clusters, 6 of them could already absorb the strange water and obtain willpower runes from it. Lin Yuan was not in a hurry to let Blue absorb the strange water because he did not have enough top-notch strange water. In another month, Lin would come to the royal capital. Lin Yuan could then obtain a lot of strange water from Lin through the heavenly maiden grade elemental pearls. At that time, it would not be too late to upgrade Blue. According to the current growth rate of the power of faith in the soul shrine, Blue might evolve into a fantasy breed Fae before the newly spirit-locked thought soul whale. Lin Yuan didn't have a special understanding of Zhou Man. He had only heard from Tian Ningning that she was a good person. Now that Wen Yu had expressed her approval of Zhou Man must be very outstanding. One must know that Wen Yu was very strict with people, and she rarely expressed her approval to others. At that moment, Lin Yuan heard Wen Yu continue speaking. Young master, the Miao family's beast creation garden has not been quiet recently. Although they have not publicly announced their relationship with you, the Miao family has begun to move against a few veteran factions in the beast creation garden. They seem to want to use the annexation of these veteran factions to expand the existing resources of the beast creation garden. To restore the beast creation garden to its former powerful state. Lin Yuan raised his eyebrows. For the current Lin Yuan, the power of faith was equivalent to enhancing his subordinate's strongest combat power. Lin Yuan was very concerned about this. He wanted to develop the swamp world and even other dimensional worlds in the future. It wouldn't do without the power of faith. Without the power of faith, Lin Yuan could no longer pretend to be the apostle's ruler. When you keep an eye on the Miao family's beast creation garden. It's the old factions that the beast creation garden is targeting. They've found Sky City and want to seek help from Sky City. We'll accept it. However, the premise is that we can't let those veteran forces leak the news in advance. When you replied with a smile. There's already a veteran force that has come to contact with Sky City. This veteran faction visited our Star Web faction's territory several times in one day. Before asking young master's opinion, I didn't approach him. This old force is called the Mulberry Weaving House. Its main function is to cultivate some precious textile spirit materials. It has a good reputation. If we save the Mulberry Weaving building, Pinru and I will have an excellent supplier when we set up our clothing brand. Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan replied. I'll leave the matter of contacting those veteran forces to you. Oh right. Is there any movement from the Whale Ocean Trading Company? In order to meet the Radiance 100 sequence selection that was less than a month away, he had to improve his strength as much as possible. He planned to be a hands-off boss for a month when it came to faction matters. Compared to the Miao family's beast creation garden, Lin Yuan was more concerned about the Whale Ocean trade. Upon hearing the mention of the Whale Ocean trade, Ji Feng's body stiffened. Ji Feng fixed his gaze on Wen Yu. Clearly, he also wanted to understand the current situation of the Whale Ocean trade. Wen Yu frowned slightly when she heard this. After pondering for a moment, he said, Young Master, I've recently done a detailed investigation into the Whale Ocean trade. I've organized all the information regarding the Whale Ocean trade in the Hidden Moon Pavilion. I discovered that although the Whale Ocean trade had not made any obvious moves in the past few years, they had been recruiting creation masters with very generous rewards. At first, these recruited creation masters would always go out to participate in some activities. It was obvious that they had received excellent treatment in the Whale Ocean trade. But gradually, there was no more news of these creation masters. Only those creation masters who had recently joined the Whale Ocean trade would be active outside. When organizing this information, I always had a question. Where did these creation masters who had been recruited to the Whale Ocean trade go? Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan glanced at Ji Feng. Ji Feng's face was filled with gloom and pain. Lin Yuan remembered that Ji Feng had mentioned the Ocean Sky lineage's situation to him. The Ocean Sky lineage's creation masters had been the first to be controlled and killed by the Whale Ocean trade's Myriad Flags lineage. Ji Feng had been able to escape death and had not been killed immediately. A large part of the reason was that Ji Feng was not a creation master. The Whale Ocean trade's treatment of the Ocean Sky lineage's creation masters showed that the Whale Ocean trade did not desire creation master resources. Since the Whale Ocean trade did not desire creation master resources, why did it need to recruit a large number of creation masters? After thinking about it carefully, Lin Yuan felt his hair stand on end. Could the Whale Ocean trade be using creation masters or creation masters' lives to achieve a certain goal? Lin Yuan felt that before the Radiance 100 sequence had started, the Radiance 100 sequence would have been much more powerful. I should bring Bai Yen to the old residence of the Whale Ocean Trading Company and investigate the details of the Whale Ocean Trading Company. Under the power of faith, Bai Yen could be said to be the #1 person under the Eternal Realm. He did not believe that the Whale Ocean Trade could achieve eternal combat power. If there was, this would be a headache for the Radiance Holiness. He had originally planned to use the Miao family's beast creation garden to explore the Whale Ocean's trade. Lin Yuan did not want to wait any longer. It had to be known that every creation master, regardless of their star class, was a huge asset to the Republic of Radiance. If the Whale Ocean trade was really using the lives of creation masters to achieve a certain goal, it was tantamount to cutting off Hui Yao's source and overdrafting its potential. Of course, this was just his guess based on Wen Yu's investigation. He still needed to go to the Whale Ocean Trading Mansion to find out the specifics of the actual situation. At that moment, Wen Yu suddenly thought of something and said to Lin Yuan, Young Master, the biggest problem in the manor right now is the Mother of Bloodbath, Lin Yun said. The Mother of Bloodbath has been very depressed because of the sacred source life form. Chapter 1454. Upon hearing her words, Lin Yuan raised his brows. Could it be that the sacred source life form of the mother of Bloodbath's marrow contract was not suitable for the mother of Bloodbath? In that case, Lin Yuan could only sigh. The mother of Bloodbath's luck was really too bad. The sacred source life form that Lin Yuan had given the mother of Bloodbath was a prize from the Great Knight Assembly. Lin Yuan did not know which dimensional world's apostle had died to form this sacred source life form. However, all sacred source life forms had their own functions. There shouldn't be any weak ones. Just then, a clear and melodious sound of a bell came from the staircase. This meant that someone was walking down the stairs. Lin Yuan looked and found that it was none other than the mother of Bloodbath who had walked down the long ladder. As a myth-breed fae, the mother of Bloodbath could easily sense that Lin Yuan had returned to the mansion. Even though it was very happy to see Lin Yuan, the mother of Bloodbath's expression was still a little sad. Upon seeing the mother of Bloodbath, Lin Yuan waved his hand at it. He patted Flowery and Xiaocao's shoulders as he spoke to Wen Yu. Wen Yu, Little Blossom and Little Grass are the new members of the manor. Take these two little fellows and choose 2 rooms to transform into bedrooms. These 2 little fellows have lived together since they were young. When arranging rooms for these 2 little fellows, try to make them face each other and not be too far away. Lin Yuan didn't tell Wen Yu about Xiaohua and Xiaocao's situation in front of them. He explained the situation to Wen Yu in front of Xiaohua and Xiaocao. Without a doubt, this was tantamount to tearing open the scars of Little Blossom and Little Grass. He would tell Wen Yu about Xiaohua and Xiaocao's origins, as well as the yin-yang chaos butterfly. Flowery and Xiaocao's situation wasn't suitable for them to go to school like Qin Yu. However, Little Flower and Little Grass had also reached the age where they should be educated. Master Hong Shen would arrange for Lin Yuan to be sent to Oak City's flourishing Chamber of Commerce. In another day or 2, Endless Summer's Listen would return from Indigo Azure City. With Endless Summer around, Ji Feng did not need to continue overseeing the Listening Heron Chamber of Commerce. At that time, Ji Feng would be the most suitable person to teach these 2 little fellows. When these 2 little guys met Lu Jie and himself, they also met Ji Feng. Being with Ji Feng, these 2 little fellows were not afraid of strangers. Qin Yu went to school every day and returned to the return from faraway manor at night. On the other hand, Qin Lun trained beside Listen. Qin Yu was about the same age as Little Blossom. He was 5 to 6 years older than Little Grass. When Qin Yu, Xiaohua, and Xiaocao were together, they would have one more playmate. Otherwise, when Qin Yu was in the mansion, Lin Yuan was really afraid that Qin Yu would not have any companions and would lose the fun of childhood. When Wen Yu heard this, she took a step forward and stood in front of Xiaohua and Xiaocao. He reached out and gently rubbed the soft hair on Flowery and Xiaocao's heads. Lin Yuan had previously mentioned Wen Yu to Xiaohua and Xiaocao. She had said that Wen Yu would make nice new clothes for Xiaohua and Xiaocao. Both Xiaohua and Xiaocao remembered Wen Yu's name. Therefore, when Lin Yuan called out her name, Xiaohua and Xiaocao instinctively felt close to her. Wen Yu did not know why Lin Yuan had brought 2 children back from the Divine Wood Federation this time. However, Lin Yuan had said that the 2 children, Xiaohua and Xiaocao, were members of the Return from Faraway Manor. Wen Yu simply treated Xiaohua and Xiaocao as her own younger brothers and sisters. As usual, when Lin Yuan brought people back and asked Wen Yu to arrange rooms, Wen Yu would immediately take them to choose rooms. However, Xiaohua and Xiaocao were obviously a little afraid of strangers. Wen Yu planned to comfort Little Blossom and Xiaocao first before taking them upstairs to choose a room. Wen Yu simply took out 2 pieces of honey made from cinnabar sweet osmanthus nectar from the diamond fey storage box on her wrist and handed them to Xiaohua and Xiaocao. After Lin Yuan handed Xiaohua and Xiaocao to Wen Yu, he said to Ji Feng, who was standing beside him, Ji Feng, if you want to form a marrow contract with the sacred source life form, you need to wash away the impurities in your soul. Otherwise, there is a high chance of an accident during the process of forming a marrow contract with the sacred source life form. How about this? After lunch, I will help you form the marrow contract with the sacred source life form. Upon hearing that, Ji Feng nodded gratefully at Lin Yuan. Wen Yu brought Xiaohua and Xiaocao to sit on the water rhinoceros leather sofa. She watched Xiaohua and Xiaoqiao eat the honey while chatting with them. In just a few words, Wen Yu had eased Xiaohua and Xiaocao's reservations. Lu Jie, on the other hand, headed to the kitchen to prepare a proper lunch. On one hand, it was to welcome Xiaohua and Xiaoqiao. On the other hand, Lu Jie noticed that Lin Yuan's cheeks had obviously become thinner after being out for so long. This made Lu Jie feel that as a retainer, he had failed in his duties. In the next few days, Lu Jie was going to do everything he could to make up for Lin Yuan's lost weight. Lin Yuan stepped onto the Golden Bell spiral staircase and went to the Mother of Bloodbath. He looked at the Mother of Bloodbath's half-surprised and half-depressed expression. Lin Yuan said to the Mother of Bloodbath, "Let's go. Mother of Bloodbath, let's talk about your sacred source life form in the training room." Upon hearing Lin Yuan's words, the depressed expression on the Mother of Bloodbath's face engulfed the surprise. At the same time, there was a hint of shame in the depression. The Mother of Bloodbath clearly remembered that the sacred source life form that Lin Yuan had given it was a reward from the Nix conference. At that time, it had just reached Myth 2, and Lin Yuan had already prepared the sacred source life form for it. The Mother of Bloodbath had not transformed into a creation breed Fae. However, since it had awakened the Sky Corona Jade Spider's bloodline, it was fully capable of forming a contract with a sacred source life form at Myth 3. The Mother of Bloodbath had been looking forward to forming a contract with the sacred source life form, but it had not expected to obtain such a strange thing. In the Mother of Bloodbath's opinion, the effect of this item was not even as good as Lin Yuan's contracted Jasmine Lily. This made the Mother of Bloodbath feel a little ashamed of Lin Yuan, who had given it the sacred source life form. Seeing that the Mother of Bloodbath's expression was getting more and more depressed, Lin Yuan had no choice but to comfort it since he had not seen the sacred source life form. Mother of Bloodbath, every sacred source life form has its own unique function. There is no such thing as a sacred source life form's absolute strength. You can try to see if your sacred source life form can open up a new path for your combat style. The Mother of Bloodbath could not help but say to Lin Yuan, "Lin Yuan, my source-type life form's ability is healing. It doesn't match my combat style at all. Even now, I don't know how to use this sacred source life form in battle." As the Mother of Bloodbath spoke, Lin Yuan and the Mother of Bloodbath had already reached the training room's entrance. After entering the training room, Lin Yuan spoke softly to the Mother of Bloodbath. "Mother of Bloodbath, summon your sacred source life form." ABC. Chapter 1455. Healing-type sacred source life forms may not increase your battle prowess, but they can help you guard the rear. You can even save your teammates' lives at crucial moments. It's not a bad choice. The Mother of Bloodbath activated the sacred source life form hidden in its soul. In an instant, the aura of life around the Mother of Bloodbath surged. A warm and fragrant water vapor spread in front of the Mother of Bloodbath. Then, a pond about 4 square meters in size appeared in front of the Mother of Bloodbath. The pond kept emitting hot steam. Due to the lingering mist, Lin Yuan could not see the situation inside the pond. He only knew that the surface of the pond was constantly surging, and it looked like a hot spring. The Mother of Bloodbath pointed to the hot spring that appeared in front of it and said to Lin Yuan, "My sacred source life form can only heal people when they are soaked in it. I didn't have the chance to use it during the battle." While the Mother of Bloodbath was speaking, Lin Yuan had already used Morbius True Data to check the sacred source life form that had appeared in front of the Mother of Bloodbath. Sacred source name: All Medicine Hot Spring, Sacred Source Species. Origin Family / Sacred Source Species, Sacred Source Star Grade, 1 star, Sacred Source Type. Life Function Frowny Face Numerology Bath. Absorb each plant phase medicinal properties and incorporate them into the spring water. In order to absorb the medicinal properties, the plant phase integrity and vitality must be guaranteed. The plant phase that had absorbed the medicinal properties would fuse with the myriad medicine hot spring. The various medicinal properties in the hot spring could be mixed together to nourish the creatures bathing in the hot spring. With one look, Lin Yuan could not help but gasp, and a pleasantly surprised expression appeared on his face. The mother of bloodbath's sacred source life form was called Myriad Medicine Hot Spring. Just like the Grace Queen, she was a sacred source element, a life element. The sacred source life form, Sacred Sword-Wielding Queen, was formed by the fusion of the Grace Queen and the Sacred Execution Sword under Morbius Crimson Light. The mother of bloodbath's sacred source life form, Myriad Medicine Hot Spring, was definitely not as useless as the mother of bloodbath had said. In Lin Yuan's opinion, the mother of bloodbath's sacred source life form was the Myriad Herb Spring. It could be called the most powerful healing sacred source life form in the world. The first function of the Myriad Drug Hot Spring was the numerology bath. The Myriad Medicine Spring could absorb the medicinal properties of any plant spirit and incorporate them into the spring water. The plant phase that had absorbed the medicinal properties would fuse with the Myriad Medicine Hot Spring. It also meant that the Myriad Medicine Hot Spring could use the numerology soup bath to condense all the medicinal effects of the plant phase in the world. When a Class 4 creation master concocted a spirit fluid, dozens of spiritual ingredients would be used. When Class 5 creation masters concocted spirit fluids, they would use 100 or even 1,000 types of spiritual ingredients. However, there was a limit to one's strength, and even Class 5 creation masters couldn't fuse the medicinal properties of plant phase endlessly. Take Lin Yuan's jasmine lily as an example. If the Myriad Medicine Soup absorbed Lin Yuan's contracted jasmine lily, the Myriad Medicine Soup wouldn't be able to absorb it. The Myriad Medicine Spring would obtain the jasmine lily's exclusive skill, discontinuity. Lin Yuan would not let the Myriad Medicine Spring absorb the jasmine lily. However, the Myriad Medicine Spring could devour a large number of plant-type phase that were similar to the jasmine lily's exclusive skill. Little by little, the effects of the Myriad Drug Spring would be enhanced. If the Myriad Medicine Spring's numerology bath could really harmonize the medicinal properties of all the plant phase in the world, the Myriad Drug Hot Spring could even refine a part of a dead person's body. It could place a portion of the body in the Myriad Medicine Spring, allowing the body to form a complete person. This was something that the jasmine lily's exclusive skill, discontinuity, was unable to achieve. Even if the Myriad Medicine Spring ultimately failed to absorb an ability similar to the jasmine lily's exclusive skill, discontinuity. With the jasmine lily's full support, the Myriad Medicine Spring could still achieve this. Perhaps it would be useless to obtain a dead person's severed limb and regenerate the body. After all, without a soul, even the most complete body would still be a dead object. However, Lin Yuan's newly locked Fei, the Thought Soul Whale, could perfectly complement the Myriad Medicine Spring. This might just be Lin Yuan's conjecture, but when the Myriad Medicine Spring absorbed enough medicinal properties, this conjecture could easily become reality. The mother of bloodbath was originally depressed, but when it saw the joy on Lin Yuan's face, the mother of bloodbath was a little confused for a moment. However, the mother of bloodbath knew that Lin Yuan would not show such an expression for no reason. He would also not laugh at it for contracting a useless sacred source life form. Could there be something fishy about this Myriad Medicine Spring that it had not discovered? Lin Yuan did not summon the Thought Soul Whale. As a legendary Fei, even if Lin Yuan summoned the Thought Soul Whale, the mother of bloodbath would not be able to see it. However, this did not stop Lin Yuan from telling the mother of bloodbath about the Myriad Medicine Spring's prospects and the Thought Soul Whale situation. Upon hearing Lin Yuan's words, the mother of bloodbath's depression instantly turned into joy. As an assassin-type combat Fei, the mother of bloodbath's top choice of sacred source life forms that could enhance its attacks was its top choice. However, compared to enhancing its own strength, the mother of bloodbath would rather choose something. The mother of bloodbath was more willing to do something for Lin Yuan and the return from faraway mansions people. The mother of bloodbath did not expect that the sacred source life form that it thought was useless would actually be able to work with Lin Yuan's Thought Soul Whale. It actually had the ability to bring people back from the dead. The mother of bloodbath decided to let the Myriad Medicine Spring absorb the plant phase medicinal properties as soon as possible and increase its star grade, in order to verify Lin Yuan's conjecture. Lin Yuan, if the Myriad Medicine Spring wants to increase its star grade, It needs to absorb the medicinal properties of different plant phase. I need a large number of different plant phase. Lin Yuan replied, "This is easy." That's easy. You just need to tell Sun Ningxiang. In terms of plant phase, no faction in the entire Radiance continent can compare to the Dew Immortal Garden. Get Sun Ningxiang to bring you some of every plant phase that the Radiance continent produces. The Divine Wood Federation is rich in plant phase. I have reached an agreement with a deep lush Federation's Chamber of Commerce there. I will get this Chamber of Commerce to collect all the plant phase on the Agawan continent and bring them to you when the time comes. Mother of Bloodbath, your sacred source life form, Myriad Medicine Spring, will increase its star grade very quickly. Lin Yuan, who had learned all kinds of creation master knowledge through genius, knew that any plant phase could be used as medicine. Even the most common usnea was the main supplementary ingredient for a class 3 spirit liquid. In a situation like this, all plant phase could be used as medicine. Any plant phase was the cornerstone of the Mother of Bloodbath's sacred source life form, Myriad Medicine Spring. Given Lin Yuan's current conditions, the Mother of Bloodbath's sacred source life form, Myriad Medicine Spring, might catch up. It would advance to 10 stars before Su Iran's sacred source life form, Absolute Love Poppy. Chapter 1456. While speaking, Lin Yuan took out a few blood-spotted peach blossoms from his amber button-shaped diamond fey storage box. The blood-spotted peach blossoms were an excellent healing type fey. Crushing the blossoming flowers and applying them on the wound could immediately stop the bleeding. Crushing the peach fruits could effectively treat infected blunt force injuries. They were also quite effective against elemental damage. These blood-spotted peach blossoms had been prepared by Wen Yu for Lin Yuan's training supplies. However, Lin Yuan had the jasmine lily. These blood-spotted peach blossoms, which ordinary adventurers treated as treasures, were of no use to him. The 3 blood-spotted peach blossoms that Lin Yuan took out were about 1 meter tall and had pink, 5-petaled petals. The large blood spots on the petals made the tiny pink petals look especially gorgeous. Below the petals of the blood-spotted peach blossoms, the embryonic form of a peach fruit could be vaguely seen. When these blooming flowers withered, the peach fruit would grow. Lin Yuan handed the 3 blood-spotted peach blossoms to the Mother of Bloodbath. Mother of Bloodbath, your Myriad Medicine Hot Spring can absorb the medicinal properties of plant phase. Let the Myriad Medicine Hot Spring absorb these blood-spotted peach blossoms first. On one hand, you can see how much the Myriad Medicine Hot Spring needs a plant phase. On the other hand, you can see how long it takes for the Myriad Medicine Hot Spring to absorb a plant phase. The Mother of Bloodbath quickly took the 3 blood-spotted peach blossoms from Lin Yuan. Then, he threw one of the blood-stained peach blossoms into the Myriad Medicine Spring, which was filled with mist and seemed to be boiling. After the blood-stained peach blossom entered the Myriad Medicine Spring, the mist above the spring slowly dissipated. This allowed Lin Yuan to see the true appearance of the Myriad Medicine Hot Spring. Lin Yuan saw that this 4-square-meter Myriad Medicine Hot Spring was surrounded by jade-like stone walls. The stone walls were engraved with all kinds of flora totems. The entire Myriad Medicine Hot Spring could not be seen at a glance, but the surging spring water was extremely clear. The deeper the hot spring went, the wider the area of the pool wall. This made Lin Yuan feel that the shape of the Myriad Medicine Hot Spring was like a bottomless pot. The blood-spotted peach blossoms that the Mother of Bloodbath threw in were not boiled by the spring water. Instead, the blood-spotted peach blossoms seemed to be nourished by the spring water and emitted a glimmer. Immediately after, the blood-mottled peach blossom's body began to ripple with green vitality. A faint red energy was slowly released from the blood-stained peach blossom. This faint red energy was most likely the medicinal properties of the blood-spot peach blossom. About 5 or 6 minutes passed. This 1-meter-tall blood-spotted peach blossom with a crown of 80 centimeters had unexpectedly turned into a palm-sized seedling in the Myriad Drug Hot Spring after its medicinal properties had dissipated. This palm-sized seedling slowly sank into the Myriad Medicine Spring. Finally, at a certain spot on the wall of the spring, it suddenly took root on the jade-like wall. While the mother of Bloodbath was absorbing the bloodspot peach blossom's medicinal properties, it had been communicating with the myriad medicine spring. The mother of Bloodbath said to Lin Yuan after getting the answer. Lin Yuan, the myriad medicine hot spring can absorb a plant fey. As long as the plant fey's grade isn't higher than silver, it can finish absorbing it within 6 minutes. As for how many bloodstained peach blossoms the myriad drug spring can absorb, I estimate that it can absorb at least 10. Lin Yuan replied to the mother of Bloodbath. Mother of Bloodbath, continue letting the myriad drug spring absorb the blood-stained peach blossoms. Let's see what happens after the myriad drug spring absorbs 10 blood-stained peach blossoms. While speaking, Lin Yuan took out another 7 blood-stained peach blossoms from the diamond fey storage box. As the mother of Bloodbath kept throwing the blood-stained peach blossoms into the myriad drug spring, the myriad drug spring absorbed the blood-stained peach blossom's medicinal properties. The seedling that had taken root on the wall slowly extended its leaves as the myriad drug spring absorbed the blood-stained peach blossom's medicinal properties. When the myriad drug spring finished absorbing the 6th blood-stained peach blossoms, the seedling grew many pink flowers. These pink flowers also had fine blood spots on them. They were obviously carved from the same mold as the blood-stained peach blossoms. However, the seedling on the wall was dozens of times smaller than normal blood-stained peach blossoms. Even if it bloomed with flowers, it would still only be the size of a palm and would have a jade-like luster. The mother of Bloodbath did not stop throwing the blood-stained peach blossoms just because the seedling bloomed. When the 10th blood-stained peach blossom was thrown into the myriad drug spring, the myriad drug spring completely absorbed its medicinal properties. The peach blossoms that grew on the wall withered, replaced by red and green peach fruits that were covered in blood spots. The originally colorless myriad drug spring had turned a faint red. Upon seeing this, Lin Yuan extended his hand into the myriad drug spring and gently stirred the spring water. He realized that the spring water was filled with the same medicinal properties as the blood-stained peach blossoms. The myriad drug spring took over 50 minutes to absorb the 10 blood-stained peach blossoms. These 10 blood-stained peach blossoms were all bronze. Based on this speed, as long as the myriad drug spring did not absorb feys that were silver and above, it was not difficult for it to absorb 24 plant feys in a day. At that moment, Lin Yuan suddenly had an idea. The golden lotus brocade's effect was to promote the release of spiritual ingredients' medicinal properties, thereby increasing the effect of the spiritual ingredients fusion. If he threw the golden lotus brocade into the myriad drug spring and let it absorb the golden lotus brocade's medicinal properties, would it allow the myriad drug spring to absorb the medicinal properties of other plant feys at a faster speed? With this thought in mind, Lin Yuan took out 10 pots of golden lotus brocade and handed them to the mother of Bloodbath. The mother of Bloodbath knew the golden lotus brocade's ability. The moment it saw the golden lotus brocade, its eyes lit up. It immediately understood what Lin Yuan was planning. The mother of Bloodbath kept throwing the golden lotus brocade into the myriad drug spring. The originally pale red spring water slowly rippled with a wave of golden light. On the wall, the pocket-sized golden lotus brocade grew into a golden adult. Lin Yuan took out 10 pots of bronze flower brocade pearls. Although the golden lotus brocade was mutated from the flower brocade pearls, the golden lotus brocade and the flower brocade pearls were 2 different feys. The golden lotus brocade's effect was dozens of times stronger than the flower brocade pearls. However, the flower brocade pearls had the effect of promoting the release of spiritual ingredients' medicinal properties. Lin Yuan took out the flower brocade pearls to verify his conjecture. On the other hand, it was to let the myriad drug spring obtain more of the ability to accelerate the release of spiritual ingredients' medicinal properties. As expected, the myriad drug spring had just absorbed the golden lotus brocade pearls. Now that the myriad drug spring was absorbing the flower brocade pearls, the time it took to absorb them had obviously shortened. From the original 5 to 6 minutes, it was now exactly 4 minutes. Even though the myriad drug spring was absorbing a plant fey, the increase in speed wasn't obvious. However, if converted to a day, the myriad medicine spring would be able to absorb 36 plant feys instead of 24 per day. Chapter 1457. In a year, the myriad medicine spring could absorb 4,000 more plant phase. It was enough to greatly reduce the time needed for the myriad medicine spring to ascend. It had been more than 2 hours since Lin Yuan and the mother of Bloodbath arrived at the training room. The mother of Bloodbath no longer had the original disappointment on its face. The mother of Bloodbath was excited to feel the myriad medicine spring's improvement. With the existence of Void Shadow Demon and Bai Yen, even if the mother of Bloodbath had transformed into a favored spirit, it still could not help Lin Yuan much in battle. But now, the mother of Bloodbath had something to look forward to. With the myriad medicine spring, the mother of Bloodbath could support Lin Yuan without worries. Lin Yuan and the mother of Bloodbath had worked out the steps to raise the myriad medicine spring's star rating. Next, the mother of Bloodbath would provide a plant fey to the myriad medicine spring every 40 minutes. Every 40 minutes, the mother of Bloodbath would provide a plant fey to the myriad medicine spring, so that the myriad medicine spring could raise its star rating with the highest efficiency. When Lin Yuan and the mother of Bloodbath left the breeding room, it was time for lunch. As soon as they walked down the spiral staircase, Lin Yuan heard children's laughter. Obviously, Xiaohua and Xiaochao had easily integrated into the daily life of the return from faraway mansion. He could not help but think of Chu Ci when he heard the laughter of the flowers and grass. Chu Ci had not returned to the royal capital since she and Cold Moon had gone out to train. It had been almost 2 months since he had been here. However, during these 2 months, Lin Yuan had not stopped contacting Chu Ci. In addition to going to the Divine Wood Federation, Lin Yuan would call Chu Ci almost every 2 days. Chu Ci would return to the royal capital on the eve of the Radiance 100 sequence. At that time, Lin Yuan would be able to meet Chu Ci in reality. He did not know to what extent Chu Ci's strength had improved in the past few months. The new fey that Lin Yuan had prepared for Chu Ci had been upgraded to Bronze X/Legend. It was only waiting for Chu Ci to contract it. Once Chu Ci contracted the Acne Crystal Muscle, the Iron Bucket Sister Nurturing Plan 4.0 could officially set sail. While eating, everyone looked at the mother of Bloodbath curiously. They did not know what had happened between Lin Yuan and the mother of Bloodbath in the training room. The mother of Bloodbath had gone up in frustration. Why was it so happy when it came down? Previously, Xiaohua and Xiaochao had only eaten Lu Jie's roasted meat. Now that they had tasted the delicacies that Lu Jie had meticulously made, Xiaohua and Xiaochao felt as if they were living in a warm paradise. Xiaochao was still young, so she didn't think too much. While eating, Xiaohua kept looking at Lin Yuan, Lu Jie, Wen Yu, and the others. Little Blossom knew that the reason why he and Xiaochao could live such a happy life was all because of these people. Wen Yu often put food into Xiaohua and Xiaocao's bowl. In addition, it had been a long time since she had eaten Lu Jie's cooking. Therefore, Wen Yu ate a little more than usual. Wen Yu's appetite refreshed Lu Jie's impression of her. Lu Jie was full after 2 bowls of rice. The mother of Bloodbath could eat 6 to 7 bowls because it was a fey. As long as the mother of Bloodbath wanted to, it could swallow the entire table. However, Wen Yu only weighed 50 kilograms. How could she eat more than the mother of Bloodbath in one meal? He actually ate 8 bowls of rice. How terrifying! Didn't Star Web say that women had small stomachs? It seemed like he had to cook more in the mansion in the future. After eating, Lin Yuan called Ji Feng over and handed him a crystal bottle. The bottle contained dozens of drops of silver stamen gold luster cassia nectar produced by the suzerain's silver stamen gold luster cassia. Lin Yuan said to Ji Feng, "Ji Feng, drink what's in the bottle. After you drink it, it can wash away a portion of the impurities in your soul. It will make it easier for you to form a contract with the sacred source life form." Ji Feng had drunk the silver stamen gold luster cassia nectar that Lin Yuan had given him before. Ji Feng knew that after drinking a certain amount of the silver stamen gold luster cassia nectar, there would be no effect. The contents of the crystal bottle were obviously silver stamen gold luster cassia nectar. Why did Lin Yuan still want him to drink it? It was true that the silver stamen gold luster cassia nectar could wash away the impurities in the body, but he had never heard that it could wash away the impurities in the soul. However, Ji Feng, who had pledged his loyalty to Lin Yuan, would not hesitate even if Lin Yuan wanted him to drink poison. Ji Feng immediately opened the crystal bottle and drank all the suzerain's silver stamen gold luster cassia nectar. Ji Feng's soul had been tormented by the strange plant seed for 10 years. He had already developed a strong tolerance for pain. Therefore, when the silver stamen gold luster cassia nectar washed away the impurities in his soul, Ji Feng gritted his teeth and endured it. Ji Feng felt that his mind had become very clear, and the whole world had become clear. Just as Ji Feng was about to bow and thank Lin Yuan, he saw Lin Yuan looking at him with interest. I just saw the mother of Bloodbath's sacred source life form. I wonder what kind of abilities your sacred source life form has? Ji Feng saw that Lin Yuan was very interested in his sacred source life form. He immediately took out his uncontracted sacred source life form and summoned the Karma Sword Orchid. He let the Karma Sword Orchid slash at his palm. The slash split open his bones. Ji Feng used his hand to grasp the rainbow light. Then, Ji Feng and the sacred source life form within the rainbow light clashed. They clashed in their souls. After a long time, a rustling sound rang out in front of Ji Feng. The rainbow light broke open, and a long-haired doll with extremely long sleeves appeared in front of Lin Yuan. The long-haired doll was only an inch long, and it was very delicate and bewitching. It was about the same size as a fairy source-type life form. However, this doll did not have wings, and its purple skirt armor was engraved with 2 gray scorpion-shaped patterns. The cuffs of the long sleeves were filled with a faint purplish-gray glow. Lin Yuan immediately used Morbius True Data to examine the doll-like sacred source life form. Sacred source name, Ringed Sleeve Scorpion Doll, Sacred Source Species, Source Family / Sacred Source Species, Sacred Source Star Grade, 1 star, Sacred Source Type. Dark Abilities Frowny Face Sleeve Bite / Sleeve Attachment. In the sleeve bite state, 2 scorpion pincers with the power of disintegration will extend from the sleeve. The disintegration power in the pincers can cut off any energy connection. In the sleeve attachment state, the ringed sleeve scorpion doll will attach to the target's body and enhance the target, allowing the target's every attack to contain the power of disintegration. Lin Yuan frowned when he saw it. As expected, sacred source life forms each had their own merits. The mother of Bloodbath's sacred source life form, Myriad Herb Spring, had amazing abilities. However, Lin Yuan could not say that the Myriad Herb Spring was stronger than Ji Feng's sacred source life form, the ringed sleeve scorpion doll. This was because Ji Feng's sacred source life form, the ringed sleeve scorpion doll, also had very powerful abilities. It could be said that Ji Feng's sacred source life form, the ringed sleeve scorpion doll, was a very special support and control type sacred source life form. It could perfectly restrain energy connection abilities. Chapter 1458. Energy connection abilities had a wide range of uses. For example, Genius Exclusive Skill, Interconnection Tail, and when used Thought Messenger were all energy connection abilities. Genius Exclusive Skill, Interconnection Tail, used spiritual energy. When used Thought Messenger used spiritual energy. Ji Feng used the ring sleeve scorpion puppet sleeve bite. 2 crab pincers with disintegration power extended from the ring sleeve scorpion puppet sleeves and could easily cut off these energy connections. He even used faith possession and blue fusion to enhance by yen through the power of faith. It was also a kind of connection formed by the power of faith, and it could also be cut off by the ring sleeve scorpion puppet. Fortunately, Ji Feng was his companion. Otherwise, if he were to suddenly encounter such an ability, he might fail miserably in an easy task. Many of the enhancement abilities of support type phase were energy connection abilities. With just the ring sleeve scorpion puppet sleeve bite ability, Ji Feng could restrain most support type phase. It had the effect of reverse control. As for the ring sleeve scorpion puppet's enhancement ability, it was because of its sleeve attachment state. The ring sleeve scorpion puppet could attach to the target and enhance the target. It would allow the target's every attack to contain the power of disintegration. This ability could attach to any Fey, even sacred source life forms. If the ring sleeve scorpion puppet was attached to a king-class expert's Fey, it might not have much of an effect. However, if the ring-sleeve scorpion puppet was enhanced by the world's top experts, such as Her Holiness, the power released by Her Holiness would all contain the power of disintegration. The power of disintegration had a strong destructive effect on defense. The addition of the power of disintegration was enough to raise the Her Holiness combat power to a new level. In any case, Ji Feng's sacred source life form, the ring-sleeve scorpion puppet, was very outstanding. The ring-sleeve scorpion puppet's appearance and ability reminded Lin Yuan of the Dark Scorpion Apostle's ability when it used the Holy Art. At that time, the Dark Scorpion Apostle Holy Art's ability was disintegration. The Apostle's totem ability indeed had a fundamental connection with its ability to become a sacred source life form. It could be said that Ji Feng's contract with the ring-sleeve scorpion puppet made Lin Yuan understand the need to go to the Marsh World's Marsh East's Myriad Palace. On the other hand, it made Lin Yuan understand that no sacred source life form could be underestimated. Lin Yuan looked at Ji Feng, who had opened his eyes and was carefully sizing up the ringed sleeve scorpion. Ji Feng, what spirit materials do you need to upgrade your sacred source life form, the ring sleeve scorpion puppet? Ji Feng scratched his head worriedly when he heard that. Young master, if my ring-sleeve scorpion puppet wants to increase its star level, it needs high-purity dark energy and poison energy. Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan secretly raised his brows. It seemed like the ringed sleeve scorpion's disintegration ability was formed from the combination of dark and poison attribute energy. If Ji Feng were still the young patriarch of the Whale Ocean Trading Company's Sea-Sky lineage, he naturally wouldn't need to worry about raising the ring-sleeve scorpion puppet's star rank. However, as Lin Yuan's subordinate, Ji Feng had no income at all. Raising a sacred source life form's star level was not something that could be done overnight. Poisonous energy was still fine, but there were countless poisonous plant phase, snake phase, and insect phase. As long as the ring-sleeve scorpion puppet absorbed the sap of a poison-type plant fey, the snake venom of a venomous snake fey, and the insect venom of a venomous insect fey. It was the same as providing the ring-sleeve scorpion puppet with poison-type energy. The dark type did not belong to the common natural elements like wind, water, earth, and fire. The dark type and light type energy could not be obtained through elemental pearls. Low-purity dark-type energy could be extracted from dark-type phase blood, bones, and fur. However, high-purity dark-type energy was difficult to obtain. In order to obtain high-purity dark-type energy, he had to find some precious dark-type spiritual materials. Precious dark-type spiritual materials were not cheap, and it was difficult to buy them for hundreds of thousands or even millions of radiance dollars. Ji Feng felt that he could not tell Lin Yuan that he wanted to go out and earn some resources to raise the ring-sleeve scorpion puppet's star level. This was equivalent to him failing in his duties as a servant. Just as Ji Feng was thinking about how to raise the ring-sleeve scorpion puppet's star level, Lin Yuan spoke. Ji Feng, it seems like I don't need to prepare anything else to raise the ring-sleeve scorpion puppet's star level. Previously, the Brahma insect cage gave me a few dark crystal beetles. The shells of the dark crystal beetles contain extremely pure dark-type energy, which can be used by your ring-sleeve scorpion puppet. When the time comes, I will ask for more dark crystal beetles from the Brahma insect cage. It should be enough to support the ring-sleeve scorpion puppet's consumption rate. As for the poison-type energy, it is even easier to deal with. The Brahma insect cage has so many poison-type phase, so it will be a piece of cake to collect some insect poison. I will give the Brahma insect cage's young family master, Fan Hanxing, a call later. Ji Feng, you just formed a contract with the sacred source life form, so your soul should be very tired, right? You can go and have a good rest. When use source paper ability, faceless paper, can change a person's appearance. It is just right for you to use. In the future, when you go out, you don't have to hide yourself from the Whale Ocean Trade's eyes and ears. When the time comes, I will introduce Fan Hanxing to you. When you need insect poison, you can directly contact Fan Hanxing. When Ji Feng heard Lin Yuan's words, he felt a burning passion in his heart. Ji Feng did not expect Lin Yuan to not only give him a sacred source life form, but also to take care of the increase of his sacred source life form star grade. Even his previous family could not have done more than Lin Yuan. Just as Ji Feng's thoughts were churning, Lin Yuan's phone suddenly rang. Lin Yuan picked up the phone and saw that it was Zhong Zhe calling him. It just so happened that Lin Yuan had a few diamond Fei storage boxes with spirit fixation silver to give to Zhong Zhe. After picking up the phone, before Lin Yuan could speak, Zhong Zhe said, Yuan. First-hand news. First-hand news. The Class 6 Abyss Dimensional Rift has officially opened, and all the major cities have moved in. If the major factions want to develop the dimensional world, they need to build a stronghold in the Abyss world according to the major city that the faction belongs to. Lin Yuan raised his brows when he heard that. Previously, Lin Yuan had heard from the Stormy Waveguard captain, Wang Su, that the major cities wanted to build mirror cities in the dimensional world. Now, it seemed that even the major cities' factions corresponded to the main world's mirror cities. It was obvious that Lord Cicada Cry was afraid that the major cities would rope in factions and engage in vicious competition. This would affect the balance and development between the major cities, which was why the policy was formulated. Just as Lin Yuan was pondering, Zhong Zhe continued speaking on the other end. Are you interested in going to the Abyss world to take a look at the Class 6 Abyss Dimensional Rift the moment it opens? Chapter 1459. Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan pondered for a long time before replying. Big brother Zhong, I won't go to the Abyss world for now. In the next month, I want to focus on improving my strength. When I'm done with my things, I'll go to the Abyss world to take a look. When Zhong Zhe heard Lin Yuan's reply, he was slightly disappointed. However, Zhong Zhe understood that because the Freedom Federation's diplomatic mission was on a diplomatic mission to the Radiance Federation, in the Radiance 100 sequence, Lin Yuan's burden was very heavy. The Abyss world is a huge treasure trove for me. Before the Radiance Envoy selection, I should be training in the Abyss world. Zhong Zhe's misfortune had been suppressed by astrologer Jitan's pollen and could be slowly healed afterward. It had been a while since Zhong Zhe had entered his berserk state. However, Zhong Zhe's desire to become stronger remained the same. Zhong Zhe knew that his strength could only improve further in a year and a half through the battles of blood and fire in the abyss. Upon hearing Zhong Zhe's words, Lin Yuan replied with a smile. Big brother Zhong, after I'm done with my work, we might have a chance to train together in the Abyss world in the future. About half of the fixed spirit silver mine I mentioned to you last time has already been mined. Are you in the house in Copper Crane Alley? If it's here, I'll have someone send it to you. Zhong Zhe hurriedly replied. Yuan, I'm at Master's place right now. Just get someone to send me to Kitchen Incense Palace. Before the Class 6 Abyss World Dimensional Rift opens, I should be fusing with Master's otherworldly flames. After talking to Zhong Zhe, Lin Yuan chatted for a while and hung up the phone. He planned to ask Wen Yu to send the Diamond Fei storage boxes containing the spirit fixation silver to the Kitchen Fragrance Palace. He then returned to his room and planned to enhance the plant species phase that could produce weather phenomena that he had traded with the Deep Buddhist Chamber of Commerce. It would also allow Gray to quickly increase its strength. Currently, Gray Ash had absorbed sunny weather, cloudy weather, snowy weather, and windy weather phenomena. The plant phase that Lin Yuan had traded from the flourishing Prosperity Chamber of Commerce were the clear yang flower, een fog sunflower, snow crystal orchid, wind mist grass, thunder cry chrysanthemum, and rainbow jade hibiscus. Once Gray absorbed the auras produced by these plant phase, it should be able to obtain two new abilities. They were skills related to the thunder cry chrysanthemum and skills related to the rainbow jade hibiscus. After entering the Spirit Lock spatial zone, Lin Yuan didn't say anything and started to attack these plant phase. Gray, on the other hand, flew around Lin Yuan, using its body to transform into a cloud to surround him from time to time. Every Fey hoped to increase its strength, and Gray, as a favored spirit, was no exception. Therefore, Gray treasured these plant phase that could produce weather phenomena. Lin Yuan picked up a clear sunflower and enhanced it. He upgraded the clear yang flower from normal to bronze X/legend. He found that the size of the clear yang flower did not change much as its grade and quality increased. Now, every flower of the bronze clear yang flower was blooming with a gentle glow. It was as though the entire spirit-lock spatial zone was immersed under the radiant sun. Lin Yuan originally wanted to plant these plant phase that could produce weather phenomena in the swamp world. In the end, he found that these plant phase that could produce weather phenomena did not change much after their grade and quality were upgraded. They were still the size of a palm. Lin Yuan decided to pour out a parasol wood shelf in the spirit-lock spatial zone and put these plant phase that could change weather in rows according to their species. This would not take up much space at all. After upgrading a clear yang flower to bronze/legend, Lin Yuan upgraded another clear yang flower to bronze/epic. Lin Yuan found that the bronze/epic clear yang flower's ore was not much different from the bronze/legend clear yang flower. Therefore, Lin Yuan did not upgrade these clear yang flowers, mist sunflowers, snow crystal orchids, thunder cry chrysanthemums, and wind mist grass to bronze/legend. After Lin Yuan upgraded these clear yang flowers, mist sunflowers, snow crystal orchids, and wind mist grass to bronze/epic, he only needed to leave the rest to the 100 Questions Beast Legion. Among all the plant phase that could produce weather phenomena, only the most special rainbow jade hibiscus had yet to be enhanced by Lin Yuan. Other plant phase that could produce weather phenomena were very common, and the flourishing prosperity chamber of commerce would be able to get many for him. However, it was likely that there was only one rainbow jade hibiscus. Therefore, Lin Yuan planned to upgrade this rainbow jade hibiscus to bronze/legend and let it evolve in its optimal state. At present, the normal rainbow jade hibiscus looked very inconspicuous. The only bright spot was the rainbow-colored flower bud growing in the middle of the rape-like leaves. Lin Yuan injected spirit qi into the rainbow jade hibiscus. The leaves did not change much after absorbing the spirit qi, but the flower bud became bigger and bigger. In the end, the rainbow jade hibiscus's flower bud even grew to the size of half of Lin Yuan's palm. It could be said that the size of the rainbow jade hibiscus's flower bud was already comparable to the size of all the rainbow jade hibiscus's leaves. As Lin Yuan enhanced the red jade hibiscus all the way to bronze, the rainbow-colored flower bud slowly bloomed. It bloomed into a double-petaled rainbow-colored flower that could wrap the entire rainbow jade hibiscus pot. The moment the flower bloomed, a magnificent rainbow stretched across the flower bud. The appearance of this rainbow seemed to have unknowingly connected the 5 weather phenomena that filled Lin Yuan's surroundings: clear sky, gloomy sky, windy sky, snowy sky, and thunderous sky, into one. It made these 5 non-stop phenomena exceptionally gentle. The 6 weather phenomena in the spirit-lock spatial zone intertwined and shone, making the spirit-lock spatial zone look like a paradise that contained all the natural weather phenomena within. After enhancing these plant phase that could produce weather phenomena, Lin Yuan looked at Gray, which wanted to absorb the weather phenomena but was hesitant about whether it should or not. He said softly, "Gray, feel free to absorb the weather phenomena produced by these plant phase from now on. In the future, there will only be more plant phase that can produce weather phenomena. I will strive to fill up 3 parasol wood shelves for you." Upon hearing Lin Yuan's words, Gray pounced into Lin Yuan's arms and bumped into him. After staying in Lin Yuan's arms for a while, Gray turned into a cloud and wrapped around the parasol wood shelves. It was obvious that the weather phenomena released by these 30 or so bronze plant phase were not enough for Gray to absorb. However, this did not delay Gray's exclusive skill, Jade Pact. 2 new jade patterns appeared on Gray's wings. Lin Yuan immediately used Morbius True Data to check on Gray. At a glance, Lin Yuan realized that Gray had indeed gained 2 new abilities on top of its original foundation. Chapter 1460. Fey name: Heaven Cloud Crane, Fey species, Feathered Crane species / Red Crane species, Fey grade, Bronze, 5/10, Fey type, Nature, Fey quality, Elite abilities: Frowny Face Weather Cloud Transformation. The main body appears in the form of clouds and mist all day long. When the main body appears in the form of clouds and mist, it is full of affinity with any natural weather. It can absorb weather through the body and condense the weather into the clouds and mist. Every weather absorbed will generate a new ability, and it will not generate abilities after a long time of advancement. Clear weather's brilliance. Omitted, cloudy weather's shadow. Omitted, snowy weather's freeze. Omitted, windy weather's roar. Omitted, thunder weather's judgment. The cloud-covered area will change the original weather into cloudy weather. At the same time, all living beings within the range will be covered with the thunder weather mark. When friendly targets release thunder attribute abilities in the thunder weather mark, the lethality will be increased, while enemy targets will suffer a series of negative effects such as paralysis and lightning strikes. Rainbow weather's fusion. The cloud-covered weather will change the original weather into rainbow weather. The rainbow weather can promote the fusion of other weather conditions within the range, allowing different weather conditions to coexist in a fusion manner. Exclusive skill Frowny Face Precious Jade's Promise. Each absorbed weather condition will be condensed into a special type of precious jade. The precious jade will form a specific precious jade pattern that will grow on the feathers. After the weather condition is condensed into a precious jade pattern, the clouds will no longer contain the weather condition. When the precious jade pattern is activated, each weather condition will turn into a specific precious jade beast. Gray's two new abilities were Thunder Weather's Judgment and Rainbow Weather's Fusion. The Thunder Weather's Judgment was similar to the abilities that Gray had previously obtained: Clear Weather's Brilliance, Cloudy Weather's Shadow, Snowy Weather's Freeze, and Windy Weather's Roar. They all changed the cloud-covered weather to enhance one's target and restrict other targets. The Thunder Weather's Judgment could inflict paralysis, lightning strikes, and a series of negative effects on local targets. This meant that the Thunder Weather's Judgment was a strong control-type ability. Compared to the other abilities, the Rainbow Weather's Fusion that Gray had obtained after absorbing the rainbow weather released by the Rainbow Jade Hibiscus was much more special. The Rainbow Weather's Fusion could not restrict the enemy or enhance one's own. However, it could fuse other weather skills together, allowing multiple weather phenomena to exist in the clouds at the same time. Previously, Lin Yuan had brought Gray with him to test it out. He couldn't use bright light on sunny days and gray shadow on cloudy days at the same time. If you were in the same area, you could use bright light on a sunny day and shadow on a cloudy day at the same time. In that case, these two skills would restrict and cancel each other out. Since the Rainbow Sky Fusion could fuse the weather together, Lin Yuan immediately issued an order to Gray, which was absorbing the weather. Gray, now cast Clear Sky's Brilliant Light, Cloudy Sky's Shadow, and Rainbow Sky's Fusion at the same time in the area above me. Try to combine the bright light of a sunny day and the dark shadow of a cloudy day. Upon hearing Lin Yuan's command, Gray flapped its wings and flew away. Clouds gathered above Lin Yuan's head. Immediately after, Gray cast Sunny Day's Brilliance. Lin Yuan felt as though he was under the warm sun. However, when Gray cast Cloudy Sky's Shadow, a portion of the clouds turned grayish-black. All of a sudden, most of the warm sunlight was blocked. Just as the two phenomena canceled each other out, a rainbow flashed between the clear and the dark. This rainbow was like a bridge that separated the clear and dark areas so that the clear and dark areas would not invade each other. Rainbow used the method of division to fuse the two types of phenomena together in an area. It was a wonderful feeling to enjoy the two phenomena under the same sky. Through his communication with Gray, Lin Yuan understood that Gray could use the Rainbow Sky Fusion. Fusing the two phenomena would cause its own spirit chi consumption to increase. Previously, Gray could use the Rainbow Sky Fusion to fuse the two phenomena together. But now, Gray could use the Rainbow Sky Fusion to fuse the two phenomena together. Gray could only hold on for half an hour. Calculating it, it was equivalent to doubling the spirit chi consumption. After understanding this, Lin Yuan continued to try. He asked Gray to use the Rainbow Sky Fusion to fuse the wind's roar, snow's freeze, and thunder's judgment into the weather above his head. Gray let out a clear cry. Immediately after, the cloudy part of Lin Yuan's head began to snow, and lightning flashed in the clouds. On the sunny side, there was a gust of wind that caused the clouds to tremble. Seeing this, Lin Yuan thought to himself, "It seems that the fusion of the various phenomena uses the sunny and cloudy weather as the carrier. In the small space above his head, Gray could use the 5 elements, light, dark, wind, ice, and thunder, to enhance itself. It could use these 5 elements to suppress the enemy. However, if Gray used the rainbow sky fusion to fuse the 5 phenomena at the same time, it could only last for less than 5 minutes. But this was already shocking enough. One must know that Gray's current rank was only bronze level 5, which was of excellent quality. When Gray's grade and quality increased, the duration of the ability would continue to increase. In addition, there were more than 5 kinds of weather in the natural world. From his previous conversation with Lin Yuan learned that she could find a few other plant phase that could produce phenomena for him. The more types of weather it absorbed, the stronger Gray's ability to enhance itself and weaken the enemy. If Gray was allowed to grow into a myth breed, Lin Yuan felt that under the protection of Gray's cloud chi, even if the floating island whale was discovered, ordinary experts would not be able to cross the area covered by Gray's cloud chi to reach the floating island whale. As soon as they stepped into the area covered by the cloud chi, they would fall into a swamp of elements and suffer various negative effects such as burning, dizziness, sluggishness, freezing, numbness, and lightning strikes. Looking at Gray, which was circling above his head, Lin Yuan said to Gray, "Gray, you have 2 kinds of jade ornaments on your body. Gray, you now have 2 kinds of jade ornaments on your body. Call out the treasure jade beasts formed by the lightning heaven chi and the rainbow heaven chi. Show me." Gray's exclusive skill, Jade Pact, would produce the corresponding jade ornaments on its body according to the type of weather it absorbed. The bright light of the sunny weather corresponded to the topaz ornament in the shape of the sun. Gray could summon a bird-type elemental fae with blazing flames on its head and tail. The shadow of the cloudy weather corresponded to the purple crystal ornament in the shape of the moon. Gray could summon an elemental deer-type fae with purple stripes on its body. The freezing weather corresponded to the snowflake-shaped sapphire ornament. Gray could summon a tortoise fae with ice crystals on its body. Chapter 1461. The wind's roar corresponded to the irregularly shaped white jadeite pattern. Gray could summon an elemental horse-shaped fae with a stream of air wrapped around its body. At that moment, a bright yellow elemental snake fae with lightning arcs crawled out of Gray's spiked olivine pattern. Just as Lin Yuan was wondering why Gray hadn't summoned the treasured jade beast in the arc-shaped rainbow tourmaline pattern, Lin Yuan heard Gray's childish voice. "Lin Yuan, help Gray replenish some spirit chi. Otherwise, Gray will not be able to activate the jade pattern obtained from the rainbow sky." Lin Yuan felt a little strange when he heard that. Although Gray's fusion skill consumed a lot of spiritual energy, Gray only lasted for a minute during the process. This meant that Gray still had at least 4/5 of its spirit chi left. Gray did not consume much spirit chi to summon this elemental snake fae from the rainbow sky's jade pattern. Could it be that the elemental fae summoned by the rainbow sky's jade pattern was as special as the rainbow sky's fusion? Lin Yuan raised his hand and released a spirit injection on Gray. Gray's spirit chi was replenished in an instant. Once Gray consumed its spirit chi, Lin Yuan's spirit injection would continuously replenish Gray's spirit chi for 2 hours. After replenishing its spirit chi, Gray let out another clear cry. The 5 jade beasts were summoned by Gray, each with a different posture. Then, the curved rainbow tourmaline on Gray's body emitted a gentle rainbow light. Under the rainbow light, the 5 treasured jade beasts fused together. Finally, they became an elemental crane fae with 5 colors. The moment he saw this elemental crane fae, Lin Yuan raised his eyebrows. This elemental crane-shaped fae's appearance was exactly the same as Gray's before it obtained the cloud transformation ability. Lin Yuan had originally thought that Gray was a favored spirit that focused on support and control. However, it seemed that was not the case at all. Under the rainbow sky's jade pattern, the elemental crane fae that was formed by the 5 treasured jade beasts contained 5 types of elemental energy and was extremely aggressive. Lin Yuan planned to test the power of Gray's move. Lin Yuan gestured to the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope and said, "Let's go. Wind Speed Rapid Antelope, take this move from Hui Hui." Let's see if Hui Hui's attack can make you take a step back. The Wind Speed Rapid Antelope was now a Gold X/Legend Fae. Since Lin Yuan had been feeding the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope the Heavenly Maiden Grade Elemental Pearls for a long time, it had built an excellent foundation for the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope. After consuming the Heavenly Maiden Grade Elemental Pearl Powder, the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope's fur turned from khaki to white. The degenerated antlers showed signs of growing again. It was obvious that the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope's bloodline had mutated. It could be said that the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope was standing at the ceiling of Gold Phase, just below Fantasy Breeds. Upon hearing Lin Yuan's command, the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope did not take the initiative to attack the elemental crane-type Fae that Gray had summoned. Instead, he raised his head and weaved layers of fine wind nets in front of him. Gray and the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope were good friends, and they often played together. Gray knew that the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope was telling it to attack. Gray immediately commanded the 5 types of jade beasts to form an elemental crane-type Fae to attack the wind wall. A 5-colored glow shot out from the crane-type elemental Fae and shot straight at the wind net released by the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope. When Lin Yuan sensed Gray's attack, he frowned and thought, "Not good." Lin Yuan hurriedly shook his hand, and the source sand, which had transformed into a cufflink, revealed its true form. A large number of guard sand quickly blocked in front of the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope's wind net. Immediately after, a violent explosion echoed on the sand wall. It might not have blasted a large hole in the sand wall, but it did not threaten the wind net behind the sand wall. However, it still blasted a very obvious dent in the sand wall. Lin Yuan's source sand was a diamond/fantasy breed elemental source type life form. In fact, it was not because of how powerful Gray's attack was, but because the 5 types of elements were mixed together due to the rainbow weather. When separated from the rainbow weather, the 5 types of elements would instantly repel each other, resulting in an explosion. This was a kind of multi-attribute elemental explosion ability. Even if this elemental explosion exploded on the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope's body, it would not kill it. However, it would definitely severely injure the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope. He had raised this little fellow for so long, and it was also the capable manager of the Spirit Lock Spatial Zone. Lin Yuan could not bear for the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope to be injured. The Wind Speed Rapid Antelope and Gray were still in a daze and did not understand the situation. However, Lin Yuan, who felt the explosion's power, was already somewhat shocked and speechless. Was this the strength of a favored spirit? With a bronze body, it had launched an attack above gold. Although the strength of this attack came from the elemental explosion, as Gray absorbed more and more aura, the explosion's power would only increase. As the types of elements increased, the purity of the aura would increase, and the explosion's power would only increase. When Gray became a myth breed, it would probably have the capital to contend with a creation breed Fae. After enhancing Gray, Lin Yuan left the Spirit Lock Spatial Zone. After dinner, Lin Yuan logged on to the Star Web. There was no news of the Abyss Dimensional Rift opening on the Star Web yet. The Star Web was still full of public opinion regarding Sky City and the Moon Empress disciple. However, when the news of the Abyss Dimensional Rift opening was made public, all the public opinion on the Star Web would be suppressed in an instant. This was because the opening of the Abyss world would be a new process for the entire Radiance. Lin Yuan had not logged in as the combat class Spirit Chi Professional, Black, for a long time. Ever since Lin Yuan's virtual influence was established in the Celestial Stairway Hall of Fame. Lin Yuan did not need to participate in a Celestial Stairway duel every month to ensure his star rank. This caused Lin Yuan's Black identity to make smaller splashes on the Star Web. Although the official fan club and forum were still there, they were no longer as active as in the past. This time, Lin Yuan still did not log in as the combat class Spirit Chi Professional, Black. Instead, he logged into his original identity. However, due to being busy during this period, Lin Yuan's original identity had not logged into the Star Web for a long time. As a result, there were many unread messages in Lin Yuan's message bar. Lin Yuan's Star Web account was open, but he did not add many friends. The number of friends did not exceed 10. Among Lin Yuan's friend messages, there was actually someone who had sent him more than 20 messages. Lin Yuan could not help but be surprised. This was because people who really had something to look for him usually had his contact information. There was no need to contact him through the star web. Lin Yuan took a look and found that the person who contacted him was an old acquaintance, Zhou Jiasun. Chapter 1462. Zhou Jiasun, are you there? I want to discuss the store with you. Zhou Jiasun, it's urgent. If I have time, I want to ask for your opinion. Zhou Jiasun, I don't think I can run the store anymore. The store is priced at 240,000 radiance dollars. I've transferred 750,000 radiance dollars to you according to the shares. Zhou Jiasun, thank you for taking care of me during this time. Zhou Jiasun, as for the unsold goods you provided, I'll let Ostrich Logistics send them to you after I sell the store the day after tomorrow. I'll also send them to the address I mailed the goods to last time. Zhou Jiasun's first message was already 9 days ago. The new message was only sent an hour ago. Through Zhou Jiasun's message, Lin Yuan could be sure that she must have encountered trouble. This trouble was not small for Zhou Jiasun. Otherwise, given Lin Yuan's understanding of Zhou Jiasun, she would not sell the store no matter what. Lin Yuan's first star web shopping was at Zhou Jiasun's store. In the beginning, Zhou Jiasun had taken care of him a lot. If not for Zhou Jiasun's extra care, Lin Yuan would have missed the fate with the Wind Speed Rapid Antelope, the Cinnabar Sweet Osmanthus, and the Cinnabar Osmanthus Haworthia. The Wind Speed Rapid Antelope had become his Spirit Lock Spatial Zone's little butler. The Cinnabar Sweet Osmanthus had attracted a top-notch auspicious sign, the salivating auspicious swallow. The fruits of the Cinnabar Osmanthus had increased his spiritual energy. It could be said that Zhou Jiasun's help had allowed Lin Yuan to seize many opportunities. Lin Yuan had been helping Zhou Jiasun afterward by providing her with materials. As early as a few months ago, Zhou Jiasun's 3-star store had been promoted to a 5-star store. Due to the excellent quality of the spiritual ingredients and phase sold. Among the group of 5-star stores, Zhou Jiasun's store still had a good reputation. Previously, in the Purchase with No Loss Stores fan club, Zhou Jiasun had shared a lot about the store. The Purchase with No Loss Stores fan club was now filled with big shots. Among these big shots, more than half were creation masters. In addition, there were many faction members who squatted to snatch the heavenly maiden-grade elemental pearls every night. This made Zhou Jiasun and those who had joined the Purchase with No Loss Stores fan club more and more speechless. The violent-tempered and Buddha-tempered people had not appeared in the fan club for a long time. However, it was said that the violent-tempered woman had come to Zhou Jiasun's shop to help. He also lent some money to Zhou Jiasun's shop and took some shares. He could be regarded as a small shareholder of the shop. Speaking of Lin Yuan, he was also a shareholder of Zhou Jiasun's store. However, compared to the violent-tempered woman, who only had a few shares, Lin Yuan had a lot more shares. According to Zhou Jiasun's message, if her store was priced at 240,000 radiance dollars, Lin Yuan would be able to buy it. Lin Yuan's 30% of the shares should be able to get 720,000 radiance dollars. It was obvious that Zhou Jiasun had given him 0.33 million radiance dollars to express her gratitude. For the current Lin Yuan, let alone 0.30 radiance dollars. Even 3 million radiance dollars were not enough. He only needed about 8 minutes to enhance a bronze/epic Fey. He only needed to work in the Spirit Lock Spatial Zone for 48 seconds to obtain 3 million radiance dollars. However, for Zhou Jiasun, whose total assets were less than 200,000 radiance dollars, 0.33 million radiance dollars was undoubtedly a huge sum of money. If it was someone else's matter, Lin Yuan would just let it be. However, Zhou Jiasun was the first batch of people that Lin Yuan had met since his rise. Lin Yuan was still going to help Zhou Jiasun. Since Zhou Jiasun said that the shop would only be sold in 2 days, Lin Yuan planned to go to her shop to understand the situation. He wanted to see what kind of difficulties she had encountered. Zhou Jiasun, who had been pursuing opening a shop, had no choice but to sell it. Among the people who had sent messages to Lin Yuan, apart from Zhou Jiasen, there was also Redbud City's Creation Master Guild's Elder Ning. It was Elder Ning who had given him this star web card. When he had given Lin Yuan the card, Elder Ning had added Lin Yuan as a star web friend. It could be said that Lin Yuan had been selected by the Redbud City Lordess and sent to the Moon Empress. It was all because of Elder Ning's information. Therefore, Elder Ning was very clear about Lin Yuan's identity as the Moon Empress disciple. Ning Yanting, Your Highness, I want to ask you for a favor. Your Highness has seen my spiral-toothed shark before. Ning Yanting, I wanted that spiral-toothed shark to awaken its giant-toothed shark bloodline, but something went wrong when I was mixing the spiritual materials, causing the spiral-toothed shark's bloodline to reverse. Ning Yanting, I urgently need some main dragon species phase essence blood to allow the spiral-toothed shark's bloodline reversal to evolve toward a dragon species bloodline. Only then can the spiral-toothed shark have a chance of survival. These 3 messages were sent by Ning Laosand a few days ago. Upon seeing these 3 messages, Lin Yuan could not help but think, am I too late to see the messages? He hurriedly exited Star Web, picked up his cell phone, and called Elder Ning. The phone rang a few times and was quickly picked up by Elder Ning. Lin Yuan hurriedly said, Elder Ning, I just logged onto the Star Web today and saw the message you sent me. I'll arrange for Ostrich Logistics to send it to you right away. I've been delayed for 3 days. The spiral-toothed shark shouldn't be in any danger, right? For the past few days, Ning Yanting had been searching for the main dragon species phase essence blood and was physically and mentally exhausted. Ever since Ning Yanting became a Class 4 creation master, he had been working hard to awaken his spiral-toothed shark's bloodline. During this process, Ning Yanting had spent countless resources. As a result, even though Ning Yanting was a Class 4 creation master, he was still empty-handed. Ning Yanting originally thought that after that ferocious strike, the spiral-toothed shark's bloodline would undergo ancestral awakening. However, the reality gave Ning Yanting a ruthless slap. If Ning Yanting wanted to protect the spiral-toothed shark, the best way was to let the spiral-toothed shark obtain a new bloodline. This could be said to be the path that Ning Yanting didn't want to take. If he wanted to take this path, Ning Yanting's spiral-toothed shark would have long evolved into the spiral-toothed shark. Ning Yanting could find ordinary spiritual materials, but the main dragon species phase essence blood was truly difficult for him. If it was just blood, Ning Yanting could look for experts with the main dragon species bloodline to ask for a few drops. Without resources, at most, he would owe some favors and slowly return them in the future. However, for dragon species phase, essence blood was considered the entire body's essence. The higher the dragon species phase grade, the lesser the amount of essence blood that could be condensed. A main dragon species Fae could only condense 5 or 6 drops of essence blood at most. As a contractor, Ning Yanting truly couldn't watch his Fae die because of his stubbornness. Therefore, Ning Yanting thought of Lin Yuan. Chapter 1463. Only Lin Yuan, the Moon Empress disciple, would be able to obtain a rare item like the main dragon species Fae Essence Blood. When Ning Yanting sent a message to Lin Yuan for help, his face was flushed red. 3 days after Ning Yanting sent the message, there was still no response from Lin Yuan. This made Ning Yanting feel somewhat bitter in his heart. Just as Ning Yanting was about to accept reality, Lin Yuan called. Ning Yanting was momentarily at a loss for words. Moreover, he had solved his problem as soon as he opened his mouth. He didn't know what to say. Saying thank you makes it seem weak. If it was anything else, Ning Yanting would not be able to afford the main dragon species Fae's essence blood. Lin Yuan, who had keenly sensed Ning Yanting's state, changed the topic. If Elder Ning has any other needs, please don't hesitate to ask this junior. Junior has done Senior a favor, and it just so happens that Junior has a matter that I would like to ask Senior for a favor. When she heard Lin Yuan's words and how he addressed her as Senior, she felt a chill run down her spine. Ning Yanting felt as if he had suddenly seen the young man who had been scribbling away during the exam. Even though that youth had become the Moon Empress disciple, he was still as humble as before. "Your Highness, if there's anything you need this old man's help with, just let me know." When he had just entered the Spirit Lock spatial zone, Chimey had been urging him. He wanted to spend the money in the Warm Sun Fund as soon as possible to carry out the Warm Sun Plan. Lin Yuan and Sun Ningxiang had previously discussed how to implement the Warm Sun Plan. Other than improving its strength every day, Chimey was thinking of holding fan meetings. The rest of the time was spent on live streaming and donating to the Nuanyang Foundation. Lin Yuan didn't want to disappoint Chimey. Lin Yuan had come from a small place like Redbud City's Xia region. Lin Yuan understood the situation in the Xia region and Redbud City the best. Therefore, he planned to use Redbud City's Xia region as the starting point for Project Warm Sun and spread it to the entire Redbud City. Finally, it spread throughout the entire Radiance. In order to ensure that there were no loopholes in the Nuanyang plan, they needed someone like Elder Ning, who had an official background, to oversee it. After explaining his intentions to Elder Ning, Lin Yuan hung up the phone. He sent a drop of essence blood that he had extracted from the main dragon phase liver that the Moon Empress had given him and sent it to Elder Ning. Ning Yanting was left alone beside the spiral-toothed shark. His blood was boiling. This young man, who had just left the Xia region for less than a year, was already thinking of returning to his hometown? What kind of pure and innocent heart was this? If this young man treated his hometown like this, what would he do to the entire Huiyao sect? Ning Yanting had always felt that Lin Yuan's creation master talent was the current generation's prodigy. He had created the history of the creation master exam. But now, Ning Yanting felt that compared to Lin Yuan's creation master talent, Lin Yuan's character was more dazzling. This kind of character could no longer be described as noble. For in this character is a belief in the welfare of others. This kind of character must be glorious. After mailing the Master Dragon Essence Blood, he logged into Star Web again and went to Zhou Jiasen's store. When Lin Yuan arrived at the store, he noticed that Zhou Jiasen was having a discount promotion. An unusually large number of customers were rushing to purchase and stock up on spirit materials. More than half of the spirit siphon goldfish had been sold. At this time, in addition to Zhou Jiasen, there were also the violent-tempered woman and 5 employees in the shop. The 7 of them were extremely busy. Lin Yuan went forward and greeted Zhou Jiasen, who was introducing the spiritual ingredients to the customers. "Big Sister XN, I didn't see the news on Star Web previously. When I saw the news, I immediately rushed to the store." When Zhou Jiasen heard the youth's unique and familiar voice, she was stunned. She then turned around with pleasant surprise. After confirming that it was Lin Yuan, Zhou Jiasen first apologized to the customer. She then arranged for the customer to be with an employee before walking to Lin Yuan's side and smiling. "Lin Yuan, you have grown a lot taller after not seeing you for a few months." Lin Yuan's height had indeed increased from 177 centimeters, and his body was much more robust. When Lin Yuan saw the unconcealable loneliness in Zhou Jiasen's smile, he went straight to the point. "Big Sister XN, your Class 5 store is doing fine. Why are you closing all of a sudden?" Zhou Jiasen let out a sigh in response. "You are the store's major shareholder, so I originally wanted to ask for your opinion. But for the past 2 days, the 3 Class 2 creation masters that were originally hired by the store are no longer serving the store. An old and rising force has been pressuring me to turn my shop into a chain store under that old and rising force and let that old and rising force manage it." Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan immediately knew the whole story. It seemed that Zhou Jiasen had been targeted by an old rising force. Under such circumstances, Zhou Jiasen wouldn't be able to deal with this old rising force if it used some illegal means. This was also the fundamental reason why most of the 5-star shops on the Star Web were backed by forces. However, a Class 2 creation master was considered a top-notch figure in a rising faction. Zhou Jiasen had treated the 3 Class 2 creation masters extremely well, and there was no reason for the 3 Class 2 creation masters to be coerced by this veteran and rising faction to not work for Zhou Jiasen anymore. With this doubt, Lin Yuan asked Zhou Jiasen, "Big Sister XN, Were those 3 Class 2 creation masters also forced away by this veteran rising faction? Zhou Jiaxin quickly shook her head and said, "This veteran rising faction has been eyeing our store for a long time. It didn't make such an unreasonable request because it cared about the 3 Class 2 creation masters' reputation. However, I didn't expect that one of the top 3 factions, the Whale Ocean Trade, would be gathering a large number of creation masters and wouldn't limit their star ranks. The creation masters who participate in the experiment will be nurtured by the Whale Ocean Trade. It is because of this information that the 3 Class 2 creation masters in the store left." Lin Yuan originally wanted to help Zhou Jiaxin with a small favor, but he didn't expect to hear such news. The Whale Ocean Trade again. It was related to creation masters again. Through Ji Feng, Lin Yuan understood that the Whale Ocean Trade needed creation masters, not the creation masters' talents. Instead, it was the creation masters' lives and bodies. If the Whale Ocean Trade really released such news, who knew how many creation masters would be attracted to the Whale Ocean Trade? If these creation masters were secretly harmed by the Whale Ocean Trade, it would undoubtedly be the same as cutting off the Radiance creation master's potential. However, Lin Yuan couldn't understand one thing. Even if the Whale Ocean Trade really had the guts to use the creation master's lives and bodies to do some dirty things, even if it succeeded, the High Lords would find out and pursue the matter. How could the Whale Ocean Trade escape the calamity of extinction? Lin Yuan was originally planning to find time to bring Bai Yinya to explore the Whale Ocean Trade's old mansion. However, it was one thing if he could explore the old mansion at night without being discovered by the Whale Ocean Trade's experts. It was another thing if he could find out something fishy about the Whale Ocean Trade. Chapter 1464. Even if he had the ability to not be detected by the Whale Ocean Trade's experts, it would be very difficult for him to discover the Whale Ocean Trade's conspiracy just by spying at night. However, there was a ready-made opportunity. He would then be able to openly participate in the Whale Ocean Trade's recruitment as a Class 2 creation master. At that time, the Whale Ocean Trading Company would reveal its hidden scheme to him. At that time, he would undoubtedly know clearly what the Whale Ocean Trade was planning. With that in mind, Lin Yuan said to Zhou Jiaxin, "Sister Xan, if you want to continue operating this 5-star shop, I have a way. I can help you contact a peak power, do Immortal Garden, and let you work with them directly. This way, even if that old rising force had 10 guts, they wouldn't dare to do anything to your shop." Lin Yuan paused for a moment before continuing. "Sister Xan, I'm very interested in the experiment mentioned by the Whale Ocean Trade. I wonder what specific information Sister Xen has obtained." He had learned about the Whale Ocean Trade from Zhou Jiaxin. This was something that Wen Yu had not told him before. He had told Wen Yu to pay attention to news of the Whale Ocean Trade. Wen Yu agreed. Therefore, if Wen Yu knew about this, it was impossible for her not to tell him. The only reason why Wen Yu did not tell him was that Wen Yu did not know about this matter. It was no wonder that Sky City did not have an intelligence department at the moment. All the information she knew about the Whale Ocean Trade came from the Radiant Moon Palace and the Hidden Moon Pavilion. The news of the Hidden Moon Pavilion was not updated every day. Instead, the information would only be gathered every once in a while. Through this matter, Lin Yuan felt that his Sky City should start to establish its own information channel. It wasn't like such a situation where the top factions recruited creation masters for experiments had never happened before. Therefore, this kind of thing would not attract too much attention from the Hidden Moon Pavilion. However, after learning about the Whale Ocean Trade's myriad flag's true face through Ji Feng, Lin Yuan was certain. The Whale Ocean Trade was recruiting a large number of creation masters and wasn't even limiting the creation master's star class. He had to make a big move. When Zhou Jiaxin heard Lin Yuan's words, she was delighted and shocked at the same time. When Zhou Jiaxin had first seen Lin Yuan, she had only treated him as a cheerful youth. He used federal dollars to buy things, which seemed to be very frugal. Lin Yuan even wanted to buy inferior energy ores, which made Zhou Jia think that Lin Yuan's financial situation was not good. However, it did not take long for him to start spending radiance dollars in his store. He had even set up his own Star Web store. In order to support Lin Yuan, Zhou Jiasun had even specially visited his star web store. However, Zhou Jiasun didn't expect that Lin Yuan's store was actually selling bronze usnias. It was a good item that would be fought over once it was placed on the shelves. Zhou Jiasun, who originally wanted to support him, ended up waiting for Lin Yuan's usnias to be placed on the shelves. After that, Zhou Jiasun was certain that there was a creation master behind Lin Yuan. Later on, Lin Yuan became a shareholder of the store and regularly provided the store with silver usnias. Zhou Jiasun was even more convinced of this. But then Lin Yuan's style became a little incomprehensible to Zhou Jiasun. A large number of bigwigs suddenly swarmed into the Purchase with No Loss Stores fan club. Lin Yuan even publicly auctioned the flower brocade pearls in the group. The flower brocade pearls were fays that even creation masters would fight to collect. Any one of them could be auctioned in the rare lifeform pavilion for hundreds of thousands of radiance dollars. However, Lin Yuan actually had dozens or even hundreds of such items on the shelves in his store. Later on, during the All-Star match, Lin Yuan was a lucky spectator. He actually defeated the Barbarian Snake Club's main member, Meng Su. It was then that Zhou Jiasun realized that the youth that she had treated as a younger brother was actually a hidden genius. Zhou Jiasun felt that she was not worthy of such a Lin Yuan. Therefore, Zhou Jiasun had never taken the initiative to contact Lin Yuan after understanding his identity. Later on, the Purchase with No Loss store auctioned the Heavenly Maiden Grade Elemental Pearls. To Zhou Jiasun, the flower brocade pearls were things that she couldn't afford even if she went bankrupt. Therefore, Zhou Jiasun didn't have a special concept of the Heavenly Maiden Grade Elemental Pearls. After all, resources like the Heavenly Maiden Grade Elemental Pearls wouldn't be auctioned in the rare lifeform pavilion. Such a good item would never appear in private auctions below the Emperor level. Although Zhou Jiasun knew that Heavenly Maiden Grade Elemental Pearls were very expensive, she had never had a clear idea about Lin Yuan. It was only then that Zhou Jiasun realized Lin Yuan's words. To think that he could pull a relationship with a top faction for his little 5-star shop. What kind of energy was this? If his Star Web store really had the protection of a pinnacle faction, the Immortal Garden, then he would definitely be able to protect it. Once the old and rising power found out about this, they would definitely hide far away and not dare to have any ideas about his shop. He was even worried that he would settle scores with him later on. This made Zhou Jiasun very happy. No matter what, the store that he had poured his heart, soul into had been saved. However, Zhou Jiasun was not very clear about Lin Yuan's question. Suddenly, Zhou Jiasun's eyes lit up, and she said to Lin Yuan, let's go. In a while, a Class 2 creation master should be coming to settle the wages. When he comes, we'll ask him together and we'll know. Upon hearing Zhou Jiasun's words, Lin Yuan nodded. As Zhou Jiasun's shop was having a discount, there were abnormally many people. The violent-tempered woman and the 5 employees were too busy. Lin Yuan had the experience of opening a shop and entertaining customers. While waiting for the Class 2 creation master, Lin Yuan even helped Zhou Jiasun receive a few customers. Soon enough, the Class 2 creation master arrived at Zhou Jiasun's shop. The Class 2 creation master had a rather arrogant expression, but he was rather friendly to Zhou Jiasun. It was obvious that he had a good relationship with Zhou Jiasun. Zhou Jiasun reached out to pat on Lin Yuan's shoulder and spoke to the Class 2 creation master. Lord Fei, my brother, my partner would like to ask you about the Whale Ocean Trading's recruitment for an experiment. When the Class 2 creation master with the surname Fei heard Zhou Jiasun's words, he glanced at Lin Yuan and said, the Whale Ocean Trading is recruiting creation masters, not creation masters. Whale Ocean Trade is recruiting creation masters, not creation masters. What's the use of asking about this? Hearing that, Zhou Jiasun twitched the corner of her mouth, revealing an awkward smile. She looked at Lin Yuan apologetically. Even as the owner of a 5-star shop, Zhou Jiasun's status couldn't be compared to a Class 2 creation master. When they met and talked, Zhou Jiasun had to address the Class 2 creation master as Lord. Therefore, if the Class 2 creation master wasn't willing to speak, Zhou Jiasun couldn't force him. Chapter 1465. Lin Yuan stepped forward and said, I happen to be a Class 2 Creation Master as well. I happen to be a Class 2 Creation Master too. I would like to understand the whale ocean trade experiment. Upon hearing that Lin Yuan was a Class 2 Creation Master, the Class 2 Creation Master with the surname Fei had a flash of surprise in his eyes. Fei Yu had never heard of a Class 2 Creation Master at such a young age. However, in the Radiance Federation, using a Creation Master's identity to swindle others was a serious crime, and no one dared to do so. Zhou Jiasun was also at the side, and this youth would not lie to him. Therefore, Fei Yu became friendly with Lin Yuan. Although Fei Yu was also a Class 2 Creation Master, he was still very willing to associate with a Class 2 Creation Master of Lin Yuan's age. Lin Yuan might become a Class 3 Creation Master at some point in time, and there was no harm in forming some good karma. Fei Yu quickly explained to Lin Yuan about the Whale Ocean Trade's recruitment of Creation Masters to participate in the experiment. Brother, if you wish to participate in the Whale Ocean Trade's experiment, you must hurry up and register. If you don't register today, the registration will be closed tomorrow morning. Lin Yuan's expression changed slightly. Brother, do you know what experiment the Whale Ocean Trade is going to conduct? Fei Yu was stumped by Lin Yuan's question. Fei Yu could not tell what experiment the Whale Ocean Trade was going to conduct by recruiting so many Creation Masters. Normally, when top factions recruited Creation Masters to conduct Fei experiments, they would require the Creation Master's star class. However, the Whale Ocean Trade did not have a star class restriction. Be it a Class 4 or a Class 1 Creation Master, they would all be accepted. Since he did not know, Fei Yu did not answer Lin Yuan's question and changed the topic. Brother, have you heard of the Whale Ocean Trade's ocean sky lineage? Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan frowned. He stared into Fei Yu's eyes and nodded. Fei Yu did not notice the change in Lin Yuan's eyes and continued speaking. I heard that those who perform well in this experiment will have the chance to be accepted by the Ocean Sky Lineage's Pinnacle Class 4 Creation Master as a disciple. This is a good opportunity. It is because of the Whale Ocean Trade's offer that I want to give it a try. Fei Yu sighed as he said this. Otherwise, I can work in Boss Zhou's store and live a comfortable life. Upon hearing Fei Yu's words, Lin Yuan was certain that Whale Ocean Trade had ill intentions. The Sea Sky Lineage's Creation Masters had already been assassinated by the Myriad Flag's lineage and turned into ghosts. How could a dead soul accept a disciple? Just as Lin Yuan was pondering, Fei Yu and Zhou Jiasun had settled the payment. Fei Yu muttered before leaving. I'm almost in the Radiance 100 sequence, and I'm participating in the Whale Ocean Trade's experiment at this time. I wonder if I can make it in time to watch the Radiance 100 sequence selection. Upon hearing Fei Yu's mutterings, Lin Yuan felt enlightened. Lin Yuan had been thinking that if the Whale Ocean Trade really took the lives of these Creation Masters, the Creation Masters wouldn't be able to survive. How could he be so brazen? Now, Lin Yuan understood. The Whale Ocean Trading Company revealed that there were 2 immortal beings in their faction. It was also revealed that the faction's young family head had plans to run for the Radiance Envoy position. It was clear that Whale Ocean Trade was trying to stall for time and shake off the Highness's idea. In the end, during this period of time, the Huihai Treaty was unilaterally torn apart by the Sea Race. The Radiance Federation and the Freedom Federation were separated by tens of millions of miles, and they were using sacred source lifeforms to trigger a meteorological phenomenon. In addition, the Radiance 100 sequence selection was imminent, and the envoys of the Azure Federation and the Freedom Federation were dispatched. These 3 matters attracted all the Highness's attention. They had no time to care about the Whale Ocean Trade's actions. In other words, the Whale Ocean Trade was trying to seize this opportunity. It was bringing forward the matter that they had been planning but did not dare to implement. After Fei Yu left, Lin Yuan checked his purchase with No Loss Stores fan club. Lin Yuan found that most of the Creation Masters in the group were discussing the Whale Ocean Trade. Among the Creation Masters that belonged to factions, some were tempted. As for the Creation Masters that did not belong to any faction, almost all of them wanted to give it a try. Among them was Master Duan Li, who had worked for Lin Yuan for 3 months. After solving Zhou Jiasen's problem, Lin Yuan left Star Web. The first thing he did after leaving Star Web was to ask Wen Yu to investigate this matter. Soon, Wen Yu found the registration method to participate in the Whale Ocean Trades experiment. Since he was going to register, it was not appropriate for Lin Yuan to wear his current face. Lin Yuan asked Wen Yu to give him a faceless paper. Lin Yuan stuck the faceless paper on his face, and soon his exquisite facial features became ordinary under the effect of the faceless paper. There were two ways to register for the Whale Ocean Trades experiment. You could either register on the Star Web or register offline. The royal capital had a registration point for the Whale Ocean Trade. Lin Yuan headed to the Whale Ocean Trade's registration point in the royal capital in reality. When filling in his name, Lin Yuan thought for a moment. He filled in the name Chu Yuan. After the registration, Lin Yuan was informed by the Whale Ocean Trade staff. 4 days later, gather at the registration point. After chatting with the Whale Ocean Trade staff, Lin Yuan learned that the Whale Ocean Trade's old residence was in the royal capital. Since the Whale Ocean Trade's old residence was in the royal capital, those who registered in the royal capital could report at a later time. At a place far away from the royal capital, when the registration deadline was today, there would be specialized flying fays. There were specialized flying-type fays that carried these registered creation masters to the royal capital. Lin Yuan thought to himself. In another 4 days, he would be able to find out why the Whale Ocean Trade wanted the creation masters' lives. At night, the night was chilly, and the grass and trees were covered in frost. Such weather was truly unusual for the royal capital's March mid-spring season. In a study room filled with books on a completely jade-textured wooden shelf, a dignified middle-aged man was holding a black chess piece and placing it on the chessboard. In an instant, he ate more than half of the white chess piece belonging to the man who looked a little like him. Upon seeing the situation, the man holding the white chess piece hurriedly said, "Big brother, I'll repeat my previous move. Big brother, I'll repeat my previous move. I won't play in the 7 horizontal and 9 vertical positions." Upon hearing that, the dignified middle-aged man's hand did not stop picking up the white chess piece. Wanqing, there are no regrets when you play. If you don't play in the 7 horizontal and 9 vertical positions, how can you eat my 36 pieces instead? It's a pity that I've seen through your thoughts. With that said, the dignified middle-aged man scattered the chess pieces in his hand on the chessboard. He clearly did not have the mood to continue playing chess. Wanqing also fell silent. The Whale Ocean Trade's myriad flags lineage was now playing a dangerous move. This move would last for thousands of years. However, no one in the Whale Ocean Trade could afford to pay the price of losing. The outcome of losing would be that everyone in the Whale Ocean Trade would become the People's Glory Empire's sinners. All of them would perish. After a short silence, Wanyan and Wanqing revealed frenzied expressions. Chapter 1466. Wanyan asked, "Wan Cheng, how many creation masters did you say were participating in our experiment?" A smile appeared on Wanqing's face. "Big brother, there are too many Class 1 creation masters that registered. I can't remember them all. There are 621 Class 2 creation masters, 74 Class 3 creation masters, and 12 Class 4 creation masters." At this point, Wanqing paused for a moment before continuing. "Big brother, these creation masters' lives should be enough to fill Third Sister's path to becoming a Class 5 creation master, right? But big brother, isn't it a bit too early for us to act now?" When Wanyan heard Wanqing's words, he shook his head. He reached his hand into the chess pot and picked up a black chess piece. He said as he stroked the black chess piece, "Early? It's getting late. Our previous plan was too late." However, who would have thought that due to fate, Hui Yao would have a conflict with the Sea Clan and set a 3-year agreement with the Freedom Federation. In addition, the Freedom Federation's envoys will be heading to Radiance to observe the Radiance 100 sequence selection. The Freedom Federation's envoys will definitely cause trouble during the Radiance 100 sequence selection. Those majesties are probably making arrangements for the Radiance 100 sequence selection in 3 months. It could be said that this is the moment when His Majesty's attention is at its weakest. Now is the best time for us to strike. Wan Cheng, don't forget that third sister's condition cannot be delayed. The longer this drags on, the worse third sister's condition will become. Hearing Di Wantian's words, Di Wanqing became firm. However, Di Wanqing's heart was still trembling. If even the slightest hint of this matter was leaked to any of the majesties, the whale ocean trade would be finished. However, when he thought about how his third sister would be able to become a Class 5 creation master through these creation masters in a few days, Jiang Yi's heart skipped a beat. Di Wanqing couldn't help but relax. When his third sister became a Class 5 creation master, Hui Yao would have its fourth Class 5 creation master. The current situation where the 3 Class 5 creation masters reigned supreme would be split into 4. His third sister would take a share. Those low-class creation masters were already dead, and the Radiance's eminences had no reason to do so just because of those dead creation masters. What did he do to his third sister? Upon thinking of this, Di Wanqing even felt that the whale ocean trade was contributing to the Republic of Radiance. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. Di Wanqing furrowed his brows for a moment before relaxing and asking, "Is it Hao? Come in." No one dared to disturb Di Wantian's study room. Other than Di Wanqing and the so-called third sister, only Di Wanian could enter the study room. Di Hao was the only son of Di Wanian. Di Wantian's first wife had died early, so Di Wanian doted on his only son, Zhai Hao. As soon as Di Wanian finished speaking, a hoarse voice of a young man came from the door. "Father, Uncle Wu told me to tell you that the 4-legged beast region's people have been invited to our home as guests." At this point, Zhai Hao asked doubtfully, "Dad, why don't I see anyone from the 4-legged beast region? Furthermore, our whale ocean trade deals in the distant seas. There is nothing to communicate with a faction like the 4-legged beast region that deals with beast-type phase." Hearing this, Di Wanian stood up. He personally led Zhai Hao to his side and sat him down. "Hao, you don't have to worry about these things. Focus on practicing your combat skills. Your sacred source life form has only reached 3-star. You still have to work hard." Zhai Hao pouted and looked at Di Wanian. He was a little dissatisfied with Di Wantian's attitude. Zhai Hao never understood why every time he had questions, Di Wanian would always change the topic and not answer his questions directly. His father, Di Wanian, would always change the topic and not answer his questions directly. It was just like how he had asked more than once about his third aunt's whereabouts. Every time, his father would say that his third aunt had gone out to train and had not returned yet. But what kind of training could last for more than a decade? In any case, Zhai Hao did not believe these words. Although Zhai Hao was a little dissatisfied with Di Wantian's urging, he still agreed. "Father, don't worry. You gave me so many suzerain metal ores last time. Once my sacred source life form digests all these ores, it will naturally reach 4-star. I heard that Chef Supreme's disciple's sacred source life form reached 4-star during the Evernight Assembly's civil and martial arena competition. When my sacred source life form reaches 4-star, I wonder who will be stronger, Chef Supreme's disciple or me." Zhai Hao's eyes were filled with yearning as he spoke. Seeing Zhai Hao's yearning gaze, Di Wantian's heart tightened. Ever since the whale ocean trading and the tower cannon had formed an alliance, his third sister had discovered a strange path that could allow her to become a Class 5 creation master. Di Wanian had isolated Zhai Hao. Firstly, he did not want Zhai Hao to know about the family's dirty affairs. Secondly, he did not want Zhai Hao to come into contact with the outside world and reveal his abilities. If Zhai Hao was too outstanding, he would definitely attract Her Majesty's attention to the whale ocean trading. Di Wanian felt guilty towards Zhai Hao. If the question had not been asked by Zhai Hao, Di Wanian would not have hesitated to say that Zhong Zhe was stronger. Zhong Zhe's strength was not just because of his 4-star sacred source life form. It was also because Zhong Zhe had a desolate bloodline Fei. It was impossible for Zhai Hao to have a desolate bloodline Fei. However, the situation would soon change. Once his third sister became a Class 5 creation master, She would definitely have the ability to compete for a position under Her Majesty. When that time came, the whale ocean trading would become Her Majesty's kin. Zhai Hao would also become Her Majesty's heir. Zhai Hao would naturally be qualified to obtain a desolate bloodline fey. During these 2 years, his third sister, a Class 5 creation master, would fully nurture Zhai Hao. Why would Zhai Hao have to worry about not obtaining a position as a Radiance Envoy? When that time came, Zhai Hao would stand at the peak of thousands and enjoy the admiration of thousands. This was the path that Di Wanyan had paved for Zhai Hao. Now this path was about to be paved. Di Wanyan gave Zhai Hao a few more instructions, which made Zhai Hao annoyed. Zhai Hao found an excuse to leave Di Wantian's study room. Di Wanqing could not help but say as he watched Zhai Hao leave, "Big brother, Hao-er's sacred source life form might not have any special characteristics, but before Class 6, it has a killing power that other sacred source life forms cannot compare to." Under Third Sister's guidance, even if Hao not obtain the first position as a Radiance Envoy, it should not be a problem for him to obtain 4 or 5 positions. Hearing this, Di Wanyan nodded in agreement and said, "I cannot see through the Moon Empress disciple and Chief Guard Ye's disciple. The Moon Empress disciple's sacred source life form seems to be immune to elemental attributes, but the sacred source life form in the form of a young girl actually turned into a sword. I do not believe that the Moon Empress has a way to let her disciple contract 2 sacred source life forms at such a young age." You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.